Hello everyone, welcome to Python Guides. My name is Vineet and today we will learn how to use main loop in Python Tkinter. So main loop is an infinite loop that runs to show us the updated window of the application. So if there is no main loop, then we will be seeing a flash of a screen and then it will disappear. So let's see how we can create main loop in our code editor. So I'm using VS Code on Ubuntu operating system, but you can follow this tutorial on any operating system irrespective of the code editor. First thing first, we have to import everything from Tkinter. Now we have to create a main screen. So we are naming it as WS. Let's provide a title. Now if we will run this program like this over here, let's see. Since I'm using Ubuntu, so I'm writing Python 3. If you are on Windows, you can simply type Python. So you can see we did not see anything because it flashes so fast and then disappeared. So to stop the screen so that we can keep on seeing the updated screen, we have to type ws.mainloop. So now if we will just run this program once again, you can see the window has been appeared over here and it is not going anywhere. So now if we want to make any changes, we can just keep on start typing over here. Like one thing I want you to pay attention on that. This main loop also causes a blocking. So what does the blocking means? Okay, something is wrong here. So you can see now if I will make any changes, it will appear over here. So what does the blocking means? Blocking means till the time the main loop is running, if I will write any part of the code over here, it won't be executed because the main loop is running. So to fix that, either we can use the update function that is available in Python Tkinter, or we can use the threading method. Now let's see if we want to destroy this window, how we can just destroy the window. So to destroy the window, let's create a button over here. Button. Let me give the B capital. And we want to put this button inside the main window. The text will be exit. Sorry. Should be in quotes. And the command that we want to provide is lamb. This is the anonymous function that we are using because this program will run just once. And the function that we are going to use is destroy function. So, and what we want to destroy? We want to destroy the main screen, that is WS. I can write in this way, and then I can just pack this. So you can see I have an exit button on this screen. If I will click on exit, the window will be closed. And today we will learn how to set title in Python Tkinter. Also, we will cover some frequently asked questions related to this topic. So I am using VS Code editor on Jupyter Notebook, but you can follow this code on any operating system irrespective of the code editor. Let's get started. So here is my VS Code. So title is the name provided to the window. As you can see on the top of this window, you can see title.py-python projects-visual studio. So this is the title of this window, and all the applications have the title on the top. So this could be either on the top or on the top left corner. So let's get started. First thing first, import Tkinter. From Tkinter, import everything. Now we have to create our main window, that is TK. Now we have to start our infinite loop. Now if I just run the program, so since I am using Ubuntu, that's why I have used I have mentioned Python 3 over there, but in case if you are on Windows, you can just simply type Python. So you can see over on this window at the top, TK is mentioned. So it is a default title provided to the window in Tkinter. So in case if you want to edit this title, all you have to do is the name of a window that we are working on. That is, right now we are working on ws dot title, and whatever the name you will provide over here will be mentioned over there. So in our case, let's mention Python guides, save the application, and then run it. So you can see over here, Python guides is mentioned over on the top of the window. So this is how we can just place the title on our application. Now let's move on to the frequently asked questions. So these questions are very common on internet, and we have made a list of them. So these are the questions. We will be answering all the questions one by one. So first question is how to change title font size. So let me show you something over here. So if I just type help ws.title, so this is the way we can see the documentation of any widget that you want to use. So once I have run it, you can see over here, it says WM title string is equal to none. So apart from this, we do not have any other option for this title. So the only thing that we can do is provide a title to our window, nothing else. You might be wondering what is the string over here. So a string, this is the string that we have mentioned. So we can simply type string equals to, and this will work same. Okay, I have to comment this out. So you can see it is still running. Now moving on to the next question. So we have also prepared the question over here. So we will be accessing it from here. So the second question is, so the answer to the first question is, no, we cannot change the size we cannot change the font size of a title. But there is one more thing, title is not limited to the main application window. Even frames have the title. So if you want to just change the size of a title of a frame, then that is possible. So let me show you real quick. Let's say we have created a frame, and one more thing, there are two types of frames. One is simple frame with the name FRAME that is mentioned over here. And the other one is label frame. So we cannot place a title on the simple frame. We have to use label frame for that. So the window that I want to place frame on is WS, and the text that I want to provide is tutorials. And we are the geometry manager that we are using is pack. So in order to see this frame, we have to provide some, we have to place some other widget inside it. So let's go ahead with the button W, and we are placing it inside the frame, and the text will be click. And we are not going to provide any command, just pack it as. And then let's provide a background color so that we can identify, because it has a default color. So let's run the program. So here it is. It is very small. Let me drag it to the. So you can see over here it has come up, but you might not be able to see it. So let me go ahead and do some make some changes on it. So it should be expand should be true, and fill should be full. Now let's run the program. Okay. Okay. So let's give some geometry to this window, ws.geometry, and it will be 400 by 300. So now you can see over here. So the line that you can see, it is this refers to a frame, labeled frame, and here is a title for the label frame. And if you want to increase the size of it, you can just go ahead and do that. Simply font, and we want to provide a size of 20. So you can see the size has been increased. Now, the next thing is, if you will provide only label, like I told you, like there are two kinds of frames. So if you will just perform it on the frame, you will see an error message which says there is no attribute, there is no function text inside that, like unknown option, unknown option text. So this text, so we have to use label for that. So moving on to our question, we can say that no for the main window and yes for the frame. Somehow we can do that. Yes. Now changing the color of title bar. It is not possible to change the color of title bar. If you will try it, you can just do like this. Let's try it. So let's give it a BG color as red. And if we will run the program, it will throw us error. So you can see BG keyword is not found because only one function was provided in that help section. But what if we just provide the color to the frame? So, oh, I'm sorry. It's BG color equals to red. And let me provide the FG color as well, just in case. Oh, sorry. It would be blue. Okay. So there is a repeated key. Okay. Okay. So should be only 50. Yes. So by changing the FG, we can just change the title or change the color of the title for labeled frame. So no for the main window, and yes for the frame window. Now, how to set a set title bar for text that I showed you in my first. All you have to change is you need to provide you need to use ws dot title. WS can be any window. If you are using other windows, like if you have created nested windows, then you have to mention the name of other windows, and you can just provide title to that. And similarly, if you are creating in a label frame, you can just provide text over here. So it is done. How to set a title to center? So there is no option to set a title to the center. But if you are a Linux user or a Mac user, the title bar automatically appears in the center. You can notice over here, it's in center. But if you are a Windows user, then you will probably observe it the top left corner. And the only way you can just shift it by using some tricks, or you can call it as hacks. You can just add extra spaces over here like this. So these kinds of hacks are available on Stack Overflow. You can check for that. And regarding this, let's try it on this one. So there is no, the thing that you can do over here is you can just type extra space, but that will create a weird look for that. Moving to the next question. How to set a title color? So as I mentioned earlier, like we won't be able to provide it color to the title for the main window, but we can provide to the frame. No to the main window. And yes to the frame. Now, how to set a title to frame? So as it is already being mentioned earlier in the video, but I will provide it once again. All you have to do is use a label frame. If you are using frame, simple frame, it will throw error. But if you will use label frame, you can use the option text to provide a title to the window. Now, how to remove a title bar? So it is, see, even if I will remove this line, there is a title bar on the window. It's a default title bar that says TK. You can see over here TK #4. So if you want to remove this, all you have to do is you just need to leave it empty string. Leave this empty string and it will work. So there is no title bar now. And in case if you want to remove it from the labeled frame, all you have to do is just remove this. See, the only purpose of using labeled frame is to provide a title to the frame. But in case if you don't want to provide a title to the frame, either you can do in this way, or you can just simply use frame. Okay, we have to remove FG as well. So with this, we have completed all the questionnaires. And today we will learn how to use grid in Python Tkinter. So grid is a layout manager that is used to position the widgets on the window. It could be a main window or a frame window. So let's see the code. So I have already written a code over here. So we have imported everything from Tkinter. Then we have initialized a main window, that is WS, and we have provided a title, geometry, and a background color. We have also declared a font that we will be a variable to the font. And then we have created a frame which we have placed it using a pack layout manager, so that we can place the other widgets inside at the center of the page, at the center of the window. And here you can see we have placed the buttons, multiple buttons, and all of these buttons are positioned using a grid layout manager. Grid accepts two necessary arguments. One is row and the other one is a column. So row is the horizontal line on the table, and the columns are the vertical lines. Yes. So here you can see, if we move on to the first button, let me run the program one. So this is the program. It has total 9 buttons, and each of them are placed using a grid layout manager. So at the first position we have 7, and the code for the 7 is over here. You can notice that we have placed it on a 0 row and 0 column. 0 row and 0 column. This is the first row and the first column. Now number 8, we have placed it on 0 row and first column. So this is the first column, and this is the 0 row. It works on an indexing basis. That's why it is 0 and then 1 and then 2. Similarly, 0, 1, 2. Now let's see a few more features of grid. So if we want to add padding to padding inside the widgets with widgets border, then we can use iPad X. So I will be applying that on this iPad on number 5 because it is in the center. Let's say I will give iPad X is equal to iPad X. X means right and left, and iPad Y equals to 10. iPad Y means top bottom. Now if we run the program, you can see that it has a border, inside border, and the number 5 is appearing big. Now if I just apply, if we want to provide external border to this program, what we can do, we can just simply go ahead and provide pad X and pad Y. We just need to remove I from this. Okay. Now you can see that the buttons are separated from each from the 5. There is a border for 4, 2, 6, 9, and also for 8. So these all are separated. Let me go ahead and apply all of these. Let me go ahead and apply iPad as well. So you can notice the difference. iPad X is equal to 10. iPad Y equals to 10. Okay. So now you can see that number 5 is like bigger button than all of these because it has an inside border, and it is separated from all of the buttons are separated from him because it has an external border as well. So this is how we can use pad X and iPad X and Y. And another option in grid, that is column span. So what does the column span do? It expands, like it merges the columns into one. So let's do it on the number 5. Column span equals to 3. So we are merging all the 3 columns. Now we have to remove number 4 and number 6. We just need to comment it. So we just need to comment the number 4 and number 5 so that number 4 and number 6 so that you can see it properly. So now you can see number 5 is like it has moved from its position, but we are not able to see things, anything happening. So what other option that we can use is a sticky. What does sticky do? It expands expands into a open space. It fills the open available space. Sticky takes the direction as a argument. So like we have north, east, north, south, east, west. Similarly, we can provide it over here. Since we want to expand into a right and left direction, so we will be providing east and west. East and west. So you can see it has spread now this much area, like it is consuming 2. All right. So this is in this way, like we need to remove this thing if we want to expand it to the entire space. We need to remove the column. So now you can see number 5 is in the center, and it has taken the space of number 4 and number 6. Even if the number 4 and number 6 are active, they won't be appearing over here now. We have to remove it, or we have to comment it down so that it won't appear, and we have to place it using column span 3. Like we have 3 rows available over here. That's why it is showing expanded to 3. One more important thing to notice, like many people face this issue. If they want to expand apart from this three, like if you want to expand over here or over here, and you are trying to give it number 4 or number 5, let's say, it won't expand it to that place because there are no columns available over there. It simply merges the column. So that is the thing that you can keep in mind. If you are trying to expand, you have to provide extra column. You have to create an extra column. Today we will learn how to exit a program in Python Tkinter. So we will teach you how to create a button clicking on which the application can be closed. So there is a built-in function in Tkinter, that is destroy, that can be applied on any of the window, and that window will be closed. So here WS is the main screen, and the dot destroy is the function that we are calling to close the screen. So let's head over to the VS Code to see the implementation of this code. So here is my VS Code. Let me import the Tkinter. From Tkinter, import everything. Now I am initializing the main screen, main window, and I am creating a main loop that will hold the screen, and we will be able to see the screen. Let's create a title for the window. And let's define a geometry for the window. 400 is the width and 300 is the height. So we are going to place a button on the screen, and when the user will click on that button, the window will be closed. So let's give so this is the variable name, and this is the button widget that we are using. We are going to place it on the main screen. That's why we have put WS over there. And then the text that we want to show is exit. And a command. Command means whenever the user will click, what will happen. So there are two ways to do that. First is to create a separate function. Create a separate function to exit this screen. And we can define ws.destroy function. Now we have to call this function here. We have to mention this function here. Screen. Now we are good to go. Let's run the program. I am using on Ubuntu, so I am applying Python 3. But if you are using it on Windows, you just need to type Python. Okay, so we have not packed the button. That's why it is not appearing. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. So you can see on the screen, there is a button and exit is mentioned on that. And whenever I will click on this button, the window will be closed. So you can see that window has been closed. Now let's see the other way of doing the same thing. Since we are calling this function just once, so what we can do, we can create an anonymous function and pass the same pass the same function in that. So lambda ws dot this. So anonymous functions are the one-time functions. So if I will click on exit, and the program will. Today we will learn how to work with message box in Python Tkinter. I am working on VS Code on Ubuntu operating system, but you can follow this tutorial on any operating system irrespective of the code editor. But it must have Python installed on it. Let's get started. So I have a basic template of Tkinter. So I have imported everything from Tkinter library, and then I have imported message box, like from Tkinter import message box. So you might be thinking, when if we have already imported everything, why we have to import message box? We are still finding the perfect answer to this question, and once we found it, we will update you in our future video. But if you know the answer, please do leave a comment in the comment section. Let's get started. So we have initialized the Tkinter module, and we have stored the value in our variable ws, that is workspace. We have created a title and a geometry and a background color as a blue. We have started an infinite loop, that is main loop. Now moving forward, before we start with the message box, let me show you some the documentation on the official website of Python. So here is the official website. You can see this is how the message box looks like. It's a box that gives a prompt. So if you want to display some kind of information, you can use information message box. Like there are 3 types of message box, and total we have 8 message boxes. So information message box looks like this one. You can see over here. So in Windows, it looks like a eye icon, and in Mac and Linux, it's a bulb icon. I will show you. And moving forward, if we have warning messages, so warning, these are the warning messages, one with the exclamation sign, and the error messages with the cross sign, and the question boxes which says, do you wish to proceed? So it has a question mark. So there are total 5 categories. There are 5 ways we can display the prompts. So I will show all of these one by one. Let's get started. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a simple interface in which we have a button, and once user will click on the button, it will display the message box. So we are placing the button on inside the main window, and we are providing text as click me, and we are adding a command. So command is basically when the button will be clicked, what will happen. So let me create a function that is show message. We will create this function shortly. And the geometry method that I am using here is back. Let's quickly run our application to see if everything is right. If you're on Windows, you don't need to write Python 3. You can simply write Python and then name of the application. But if you're on Mac or Windows, you have to write this. So I'm sorry, because the show message function is not yet created. That's why it throws error. So let me quickly go ahead and create a show message. And for now, I will just write pass. Pass means simply do nothing. Python 3 app.py. So yes, so here is the interface. So once I will click on the button, it should prompt a message box. Let me go ahead and create a message box. So simply we have to write the keyword that is message box. Then we have to click on dot. And now here we have eight options. So first is show info. I will click on show info. Now, what are the parameters required? The parameters required are title. Title means you can see over here, it says example. So this is the title, and message, the message that will be displayed, like hello world in this case, and few options. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do, I will just display a message. I'm sorry. So show info. The title would be example. You can give any title, and then the message would be this is the information. Let's run the program. Python 3 app.py. So I clicked on, and you can see that there is a prompt, and you can see the bulb icon over here, which says idea or something information. This is the information. You can notice that there is a title on the top of this message box. It says example, so similar to this one. And there is an OK button, and the message that we have displayed it's in a bold letter. You can see this is the information. So one more thing that I want to tell you over here, this is the title of the message. If we want to display some kind of little more description, we can just type detail over here. So these are the options. So we can just type this message is regarding the battery health. You can write any message. And now if I will run this program once again, oh, I'm sorry, the click information is also, spelling is incorrect. So this, you can see the bold letter, this is the information, and here this message is regarding the battery health. So this is how we can add a small detailing about the message box that we are displaying. So in this case, we would have mentioned it, battery over here, battery. And there was a mistake in the click spelling, CLICK. Now quickly go ahead, let's go to the next message. Before going to the next message, I want to tell you, like in this case, we have options, yes, no, cancel. Now, how do we control these options? So we can control these options by using the conditional operator, that is if else. So I will show you real quick. Let's go to the warning. Since we don't require this controlling right now, so once I will read to the questionnaires, and then I will show you how to control those questions. Now let's show the warning error. So what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and copy this and just paste, remove the indentation, and instead of show info, it will be show warning. Title will be same, message will be same, detail will be same. Now you can observe the logo, the icon, sorry. So show error. If I run the program once again, Python 3 app.py. So these will come one by one. First of all, the information will come. Then second one is the the warning one. So you can see battery, this message is regarding the battery health. And the third one will be the error message. You can see the red mark. Close. So with this, we have covered information, warning, and error. Now let's go to the question message boxes. Let me comment all of these. Let me go ahead and remove this because we have already completed it. Now, message box dot ask. So what are the options here? Here, the option starts with ask. So ask question, title. So if you want, you can, if you will not provide the title, it will already automatically accept that. So if I will type example, the message, okay, let's give the message directly. So message will be, so it is question. So it will be, do you want to quit? We can also use detail over here, but for that we have to mention it. Click. So do you want to quit? Yes or no? Now I will teach you how to control this, yes or no. So to do that, we just need to save this response in a variable. Let's call this variable as response, and let me go ahead and print the response just to see what it is actually returning. So let me go ahead and run once again, Python 3 app.py. Okay, oh, I'm sorry for that. Python 3.py. So do you want to quit? If I say yes, you can see over here, the answer is yes. So that means it is returning yes. So if we want to control this, and let's run it once again to see what it returns if we click on no. So it should return no. So no, lowercase no. So if we want to control this, what we can do, simply we can if response equals to yes. Then display another message box with the information. And information says you pressed yes. And if the user pressed no, so it says elif response equals to no, then message box dot show info show info sample you clicked no. Let's run the program. You can also add the else part app.py click me. So if I will click yes, it should show me a prompt which says you pressed yes. And if I click on no, it should show me a prompt which says you clicked no. Okay, so something is incorrect. That's why it did not appear. So it's because you can notice over here, I have mentioned the uppercase N over here. So it should be exactly same. Python 3 app.py. If I just clicked on no, it should display you press no. You clicked on no. You clicked no. Okay, let's go with the next option, that is ask okay cancel. So same thing will be applied on all the options. So let's go and work with this one, the larger one. Ask yes, no, cancel. So there is something new here. Let me remove this, and I'll create a response variable, and I'll store the value of message dot ask yes, no, cancel. Ask yes, no, cancel. And then I will give a title, that is example, and the message will be, do you want to save? So basically, when we are working on any document and we try to exit out of it, so it gives us this prompt, do you want to save? And let's run it. Okay, before we run it, just print the response. Python 3 app.py. So if I will click on yes, it will return true. So earlier in our previous example, we have seen that it was returning yes and no. Now it is returning true, false. So if I will click on no, it will return false. But if I will click on cancel, it will return none. You can see here. So now our condition will go if. So our condition will change now. So this is how we work with message box. So what we can do here, we can say if response equals to, oh, we don't need to write it inside the codes, true, print, or you can just display a message, whatever you want. This is true. And if response equals to false, print this is false. elif response equals to none, print nothing, or you clicked on cancel. Whatever you want. You can also provide else part, Python 3 app.py. So if I will click on, so you can see this is true. If I click on no, this is false. And if I click on cancel, you clicked on cancel. Similar thing you can do in case you want to perform some kind of activity, like you want to open a file dialog box, or you want to close the window. So you can do that like this. So with this, we have covered a message box. I hope you have understood. In case if you have any problem, or you want to know something more about it, you can just simply leave a comment below. Learn how to use option menu in Python Tkinter. Before we get started, let me show you what we are going to build. So this is the option menu on the center. You can see you can select any choice, like it provides you multiple menu options, and user can select any one option out of this. So let's go ahead and check the code. So I have already written the code, and I will explain you one by one. So in the previous code, you can see that we have selected Canada. So it is showing Canada on the terminal over here. And if we switch to US, it says United States. So we are going to build this application. First thing first, we have just imported the Tkinter, everything from Tkinter. We have initialized the TK window, and then we have provided the title, geometry, and then the background color. Now to create an option menu, what we have to do, we have to use the keyword that is option menu with capital O and capital M. And then we have to provide the window on which we are going to place it. Since we are placing it on the main window, so we have written WS over here. Now the variable is the variable means something that value will keep on changing. So and it also needs like whether it is going to be Boolean or integer. So in this case, we are dealing with the string. So we have provided it a string var. If it would have been numbers, then we have provided it int var, like this. Now once we did that, we have a list of items that we want to add in our option menu. So we have to create a list like this, and then that list, using this asterisk sign, we can provide that mention the name of the list variable over here. Last is the command. So the command that we are using over here is like it will print whatever the user has selected on the terminal. We can also do this to print on the main Tkinter window by just using the label. So we will assign it on the main window, and text will be choice, and we will pack it. Let's go ahead and run the program. I am using Ubuntu, so I am using Python 3. In case if you are on Windows, you can just simply type Python and the name of the file with a file extension. The name of the file is main. Now you can see it is being displayed on the main window only. Now let's see some of the features that we can apply, like the styling and all. So first style is we are going to increase the width. So if you will try to add the width from here, it will give you an error. So let's say if you are going to provide a width of 10 from here, it will throw an error. But so how do we add the width? So in order to add the width, we have to use the config method. So we will use the name of our the variable assigned to the option menu, dropdown dot config, and then width will be 10. We can also provide the height. So drop down dot config. Let's give it height of 2. And we can also provide the color to the option menu. Same thing, drop down dot, config. It is going to be a background color. We can also provide the FG color, that is a foreground color. It should be 6 letters or 3 letters. So this is the random color that I'm going to provide. Now let's run the program. Okay, something went wrong. Let me see on line 30. WS.mainly. All right. So I have to put it inside the codes. So you can see now it has a bigger height and width, and the color is also changed over here. So let's do one more thing you have noticed over here, like whenever we are running the program, it has no value assigned already. So what we are going to do, in order to set the default value, we can just simply provide it using a variable, that is variable dot set, and then the name of a list, that is countries, and the index number. So this one is 0, 1, 2, 3. So let me provide the United States as the default selection for the option menu. So now you can see United States is already selected. So in case if user will not provide any input, United States will be taken as a default input. Today we will learn how to use a scroll bar in Python Tkinter. So scroll bar is a widget in Python Tkinter that allows us to navigate in horizontal or vertical direction. And it also helps the programmer to place more content on the limited area provided. So let's go ahead and see the application. So this is the application that we are going to create. So you can see we can scroll down and we can scroll in right and left direction. So this is just a simple application just to show how the scroll bar looks like. Let's go to the code part. I have already written the code for this, and I will be explaining line by line. So first thing first, we have imported everything from Tkinter, and then we have initialized a window, and we have created a variable WS, which stands for workspace. We have assigned a title. This is the list of the information that we are going to put in inside the list box. So for this, we are using the list box. Now we have created a frame. So the best way to put in this scroll bar is by assigning a frame, as it allows us to place the characters in right and left direction, and also gives us a control to move whenever we want. Now we have created a list box. We have provided us a height 10 and width as 30. And then the layout manager that we are using is back, and you can notice over here we have mentioned side is equal to left. That means the application will be in the left direction in the frame, inside the frame. Now this is the code to insert the information inside the line. And means every data that is going to be inserted will be inserted after that. Like it won't come like it will be like 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Now first thing first, we are creating a vertical scroll bar. So vertical scroll bars are the one that helps us to move into up and down direction. Like in this case, this one is the vertical scroll bar. So the method to create the scroll bar is, first of all, we have to use the keyword, that is scroll bar, and we have to provide the window in which we are going to put in. By default, the orientation is vertical. So if you won't provide vertical, it's okay. So in case if you want to provide vertical, you can just simply type vertical, all in caps. We are using the layout manager as back, and the side we have provided right. You can notice over here we have provided right, and we have provided left to the list box. So that means on a frame, both the widgets are going to lie down parallelly, and scroll bar will be on the right side. fill Y means the application, the scroll bar will be stretched to the size of a window in the Y direction. Now the main part comes over here. Once we have created the scroll bar, we have to configure or we have to bind it with the widget that we are going to use. In case you are using list box, then you can provide list box over here. You're using text box, you can provide text box over here. And if you are using frame, then you can provide frame on this over here. Now LB is a variable for the list box. You can see over here. Now lb.config is equal to y scroll command is equals to vertical sp.set. So what does this mean? We are scrolling to the in the y direction. So that's why we have used this one, y scroll. And which now we have to mention the name of the scroll bar over here and dot set. So the name of the scroll bar that we are going to use is vertical. Now, in case of horizontal, we will provide x over here. Instead of y, we will go for the x scroll command, and rest of the things will be same. So, like you can notice over here, since we have named our horizontal scroll bar as a horizontal underscore SB, so we have mentioned the name of scroll bar over here. Now, second thing is we have to now once we have configured, we have binded the list box with the scroll bar. Now we have to bind the scroll bar with the list box. So vertical SB is the name of a scroll bar that we are going to use. .config command will be lb.yview. In case of horizontal, we will use xview, like you can see over here. So in this way, we can just create the scroll bar for our application. One more thing that you can notice over here, like we have not, while placing the horizontal scroll bar, we have placed it directly inside the WS window, because if I will put it inside the frame and I will set it to the bottom, it won't work. So that's why we have done that way. How to use Python Tkinter spin box. So before we get started, let me show you how the spin box look like. So you can see this is a spin box. It is like an entry box, but it has some advanced features, like it has arrowhead. You can click on the arrowheads to increment or decrement values. Also, you can just provide the input like an entry box over here. So let's go ahead and see how we can create this application. And one more thing, all the source code is available on our website. So just simply go to pythonguides.com and look for the Python Tkinter spin box. We have explained all the topics over there with good examples. With these words, let's get started. So this is my VS Code editor. And I have already written the code and I will be explaining by line. So first thing first, we have imported Tkinter from everything from Tkinter. And then we have created a workspace, or you can say we have created an object for TK. We have provided title, geometry, and we have set the background color. Now to use a spin box, first of all, we have to use the keyword that is spin box with S capital. Then we have to use WS, like a window in which we are going to place it. In case if you are placing it in a frame or any other window, you can provide the name over here. Now this from, like we have to provide the range of numbers. In case if we are dealing with numbers, we have to provide the range. And there are two ways of doing that. One is using from and to method, and another one is list one. I will show you that one as well. So from underscore, we have to provide the starting point, and two equals to the end point. Now let's run the program. So you can see it is starting from 1 and it will go till 10. In case if you want to increase the increment value, like you want it to every time you click on this button, it should appear 3 directly. Then you can use the option over here, that is increment, and we can provide the value as 2. Now you can see whenever I am clicking on this arrowhead, it is jumping 2 values. Next thing is, let's see how we can use the list of numbers or characters to be displayed in this spin box. So for that, this is an alternative method. We will remove this, or we can comment this. And now value equals to, let's say I want to provide the country names. So let's say USA, India, China, and we have to provide. Now let's run the program. Okay, something went wrong. Let me see. Oh, I'm so sorry for that. I have removed font instead of font. So you can see over here, now we have the list of 3 countries that we have mentioned. We can also do this thing by simply copying the list from here and putting it in a variable, let's say data. And we can mention the data over here. Oops. So this will also work. And one important thing that I forgot, like we have to pack it, or we have to provide any geometry manager to display the data. So this is how we can use the spin box. Learn how to use text widget in Python Tkinter. So these are the topics that we are going to cover. Let's get started. So text box widget is a simple text box that allows us to insert data in multiple lines. So best example could be this text editor you can see over here. It is a text box kind of thing. It is more of similar to a list box as well. So let's run this code. So here you can see the right portion is a text box, and inside the text box we have mentioned this information. So moving on the code, we have imported everything from the Tkinter. We have created WS as the main screen. We have provided title, geometry, and a background color. Then we have started an infinite loop, and then we have created a message that we are going to insert inside the text box. Now to create a text box, we have to use a keyword text with capital T, and then we have to provide where we want to place it. We want to place it inside our main window, that is WS. Height and width determines the size of the text box. And then wrap is used to wrap the word. I will be explaining all of these in detail. Then we have the layout manager that we are using is pack, and the reason behind using the expand equals to true is so that it will be placed in the middle of the screen. Now to insert a data, first we will be using the insert method or insert function. Insert function takes 2 parameters. One is end, and means every time the data will be added, it will be added in the end of the previous data. So in that way it will be it looks normal. And then the other argument that it takes is the message that we want to pass. So here we are passing this message: textbox.config state is disabled. That means user will not be able to make changes in the text box. So let's look into our topics. So first topic is disable the text box. So this, you can see textbox.config. We have to change the state to disable. Let me run the program. Now you can see if I try to edit this, I'm not able to do anything. But if I have to bring this back to the normal, I just need to type normal over here. So now if I will run the program once again, I will be able to make the necessary edits. So with this, we have completed the first topic, that is to disable the text box. Our another topic is change the text box size. So the text box size is determined by its height and width. So height is you can calculate the height by just calculating the rows. Like in this case, let me show you in this text editor 1 to 5. So this is till here the height is 5. If we will be going to 10, then till here the height is 6. Oh, sorry, height is 10. Similarly, if we start counting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see the height is 12. And the width is this part, the right and left. So each of these things, if we are going to calculate, including the spaces, each of the character, then it will give us the width of the text box. So if we want to make changes, we can simply let's increase the size of width. Let's increase the width to 50, and we just make it 15. Now let's run the program. Now you can see that it has been expanded, and if we will count it again, it will be 15. So in this way, we can just change the size of the text box. Change font. So in order to change font, we simply need to provide the font. So it will be like font equals to, the first parameter will be the name of the font that we are going to provide. Let's say Arial. Then it asks for the size of the font. So let's give it to 16. And then it will be a kind of styling or font weight. So it could be italic, underline, or bold. Let me give the bold over here. You can pass all three arguments as well. So now you can see the text box is appearing bold, and the text size has also increased. So with this, we have completed this topic. Moving forward, add scroll bar. So in this section, we will see how to add a scroll bar to our. So to add a scroll bar, there are two methods. First is we can simply place the scroll bar on the text box. But the easiest and the best practice that is to add a scroll bar is by adding a frame to the window. So what we can do, we can add we can create a new frame, and then we can place text box and the scroll bar widget inside that frame, and we can then just align them to left and right. We want to place the frame inside the WS, that is the main window, and we will replace this with frame. And now we will create a scroll bar. So this is the code to create a scroll bar. We have provided the frame over here, and the layout manager that we are using is Pack, and we have put it in on the right side. Since we want the frame on this side, like this one over here. That's why we have packed it to the right side, and we are going to pack the text to the left side. Now we have configured on the line number 32, we have configured the text box with the Y scroll. Y scroll means up and down. So we are adding this scroll bar over here. Okay, so we have to pack the frame. We have not packed the frame. That's why it was not showing. So let me show you if I just don't put the expand over here. So you can see that the window is appearing on the top. It's not in the center. So if we will use expand equals to true, then it will appear in the center of the screen. So now you can see the scroll bar has been added into our program. And if we will write more text, then we will be able to scroll it. This is the vertical scroll bar. We can also add the horizontal scroll bar in the same way. Just we need to provide the X view over here. We need to change the Y view to X over here and here. Moving forward, we have clear text box. To clear a text box, let's create a button. We want to place this button inside the frame, and the text will be clear. Command will be clear. So this is the button that we have. This is the function that we are going to create, and then just pack this button and give expand equals to true. Now let's create a function. Okay. Since it's a reserved word, so it's not a good idea to create a function with the reserved keyword. So let's say clear text box, clear DB. So in order to clear the text box, all we have to do is use the delete function. So text box dot delete, and then we have to provide from where where to start deleting and where to end this deletion. So we want to start from the beginning, that is 1.0, and we want to end at the end. In case if you don't want to end it, then you can just simply, let's say if you have a signature on the top and the left, like you have some text that is on the top and some text at the bottom that you don't want to delete. So you can just simply provide the information over here. Like you can just skip those lines. It will start deleting from the row 3. And in the end section, you can just specify till which line you want to delete. So since I want to delete the entire thing, so I just will write end. Let's run the program. Now you can see we have a button over here. If I will click on clear, all of the text will be deleted. Moving forward, we have how to get the value of text box. Let's say in case if we want to take the input of the user, so in that case we don't need this message. And let me just copy this message, and we will be using it while providing input. Let's create a new function, def, or I can just edit the same function. I can write get over here, and the line from where I want to start fetching. So it should be from line 1 to the end. Okay, so I have to comment this line as well because we are not inserting right now. Okay, let me do one thing that will make things simple. Let me keep this text over here, and we want this to get this information, and we want this information to be printed on the terminal. Okay, clear the terminal. Okay, now let's run the program. Let's say user adds some more points over here. Keeps you healthy. Now, if I will click on the clear button, I'm sorry, it is showing clear button, but it will perform the get function. So let me just increase the value. If I will click over here, you can see all the information has been printed over here. That means that was available in the text box. So this is done using the get. Now we have a last topic, that is text box word wrap. So word wrap is basically if there is no space, like let me show you here. Like if there is no space, the muscle word is splitted into two words, two words, and then uh, uh, it has moved to the next line. So in this case, it is character wrapping, since the characters are breaking. But I will be showing both the ways. So here we have written word. That means if the window size will change, it will the word will not break. It will just come into the next line. So you can see over here, tones up muscle. Let's make this on one word. Let's say tone up is the one word. Now you can see over here, tone up has came to the next line because it was not able to come over here. Now in the case of the second option for this one is char, that is for the characters. So now the word will split into the characters. Okay, since you can see this one, the your feed has been splitted into two words. Actually, it is not splitted. It just it has moved to the next word by the character. And the third option for this one is we can just type the none in case if we don't want it.
To use scale widget in Python Tkinter. We will start with the overview of scale, and then we will learn how to use scale widget with examples. Scale widget allows to select specific values from the range of values. The slider on the scale allows to slide between the values in right or left or up down direction. So in this image you can see that this is a vertical slider or scale, and this is a horizontal scale. This is the syntax to create the scale widget in Python Tkinter. First of all, you have to mention the scale with capital S, and then the name of the window on which you want to place it. It could be a parent window or child window. From is the starting value of your slider. Then 2 is the end value. Tick interval is the how much gap you want, like it will display a scale, and on the scale whatever the value you will provide here, it will jump accordingly. So in this case, if it is 2, then the next value will be 4, and then 6, then 8, and so on. Orientation decides whether it will be in a vertical position or in a horizontal position. Command, this will require a function name, or you can also create an anonymous function or lambda function over here. So whenever the slider will be slided, this function will be triggered. Label is the text written on the scale. So whatever text you want to display with the slider, you can show it. Variable is equal to var. So there are two ways of creating a variable. One is using this var variable equals to var, where var will be declared as with int var or string var or boolean var. So you have to already define it on the top, then you can use this. Other method is you can create a variable over here. You can just mention any name, and then using the same name you can just pack it. So these are the real world examples for the scale widget. The first one is the volume. So you can just see it right over here. This is the widget that you can slide in the right and left direction to adjust your volume. Other than that, the other application that uses the scale widget is the open volume mixture. So if you will open that, you can see that we have lots of sliders available over here. Then we have if you will open word or WordPad, there also you can see the slider screen that you can adjust. So with this we have completed the theoretical part of that. Now let's go ahead and implement whatever we have learned so far. So I have already written the code over here, and I will explain you step by step. But before that, let me go ahead and run this application. So this is the simple application to project scale widget. In this application you can see that there is a scale widget with a slider on it, and there is one label at the bottom of the screen. So every time you are changing the position of the slider on the scale, the number is changing. So right now we are on the 6, that's why it is displaying 6 over here. So if I'll do it a little faster, still it will work perfectly. So we will learn how to create this application. Also you can notice few things over here. You are seeing that it says 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. This is the scale value. Now let me go ahead and show you how I have created this thing. So first of all, I have created scale with capital S. This is the word that you have to use. And then the master screen is going to be WS. You can provide any, if you have any child screen and you want to create this slider on the child window, then you can do the, you can mention the name of that child window over here. From is 0. So in this case, you can see we have provided from equals to 0. That's why the value is 0 over here. Then 2 is the last value. So last value is 20, as we have provided 20 over here. Then the length is 600. You can provide any length to this application. And then tick interval is 2. So tick interval is the scale value. So here you can see that it says 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Each value has a gap of 2. So if I'll just change it to 4. Then you can see now the gap is 0, 4, 8, 12. So the gap is for 4 now. Horizontal, orient is equal to horizontal. There are two options. You can set either in horizontal or in vertical. Horizontal is like this one and the vertical is this, like this. So let me go ahead and change it to the vertical. So now the scale widget is appearing in the vertical position. And here is the output appearing at the bottom of the screen. Now next is the command. Command keyword accepts the function name, or you can provide the lambda function over here. So lambda function is an anonymous function that creates a function that can be used for one time. So here you can see val we have provided as a parameter, then var.set and scale.get. So every time you have to fetch the value from the scale widget, so you have to use .get function, and .set function sets the default value. So let me comment this thing. And this is how we can use the anonymous function with scale, and this is how we can use the normal function. So I have created the same thing on the top. I have taken a val as an argument, and then var.set. I have printed a little message over here which says slider is at this, and then the scale.get. Wherever the slider is at the current moment, that information will be fetched and displayed over here, displayed on the label. var.set, var is the variable name for the label that we have created, and we are setting the value on the label. So this was the brief information about the scale. Now let's go ahead and understand the entire code. First of all, I have imported everything from Tkinter. Then I have created an instance for TK object with the name WS, and then I have created a WS can be treated as a parent window, and then I have created a title for the window which is Python guides. So this is the title, Python guides. Then geometry is 400 and 200. This is the 400 is the width and 200 is the height. ws.config we have used to configure the background color. So background color is it's a light blue. Then we have created a scale using the scale widget. Then we have placed a scale widget. So scale, then master is ws, start, length. So this part I have already explained. The other way of doing the same thing is I can also create a variable equals to var1, since I already have var variable with the name var. So I have to define it. So var1 equals to, you can provide integer or now I don't need to create a variable over here. It will work now. So I can just simply go ahead and do this way. So every time I have to set any value or I have to fetch any value, I can use var1 instead of that variable name. So here I can just mention var1 and it will work perfectly. So here you can see that. After creating the scale widget, I have created another variable for the label, and here's the label. I have put it on the same window, that is ws. Then the text variable I have using as var, which I have created right over here. The geometry manager that I am using is pack, and I am putting it at the bottom of the window. And at the end, we are starting the main loop so that we can see the screen, so that the screen keeps on appearing simultaneously.
How to use Python Tkinter validation. So validations are the guidelines and the standard input that user need to provide, and it is provided through the Python Tkinter widgets. So there are like multiple widgets on which we can assign the validations. But most important one is the Python Tkinter entry box. So in entry box is used for most of the purposes, like when we have to accept the user input, whether it could be in a string form or integer form, or maybe we are accepting as a password. So in that case, we have to provide some validations on that, so that user provide the standard input that is decided by the organization or an individual. So that is what we are going to learn here. So this is the GUI interface that we are going to create. So it has two entry boxes, and you can see since I have not provided any input in that, so it is showing that you cannot name cannot be empty. So if I will provide something, then it will not show any error. So I have allotted some of the validations on that. Let me show you that. So first thing first, like it cannot be empty. Secondly, the name should be greater than 3 characters. So if I will just put in 2 characters, it will show me an error. Name minimum 3 characters required. And it cannot be. And one more thing that I have provided is, if I will put in some numbers, it will show me that name cannot have numbers. So this is the application that we are going to create. If you this entry box is just to lose the focus, so there is no purpose for this entry box here. So this is the code that I will be explaining you line by line. So there are mainly 2 methods of creating the validations. One is by using if-else statement and try and catch exception handlers, and the other one is by using the validate option that is available in the entry box. So let's get started with the first one, that is using the if-else statement and try catch handlers. So in this application, first thing first, I have created an object with the name WS, which means workspace. And then I have provided the basic informations like title. I have decided the geometry and the configuration, and I have provided the background color. Now here I have declared a universal font that I have used later in my code over here and here. Then I have created one entry box, and the variable is with the name, and this will accept the name of the user. And I have used the bind function over here to bind the this entry box. So what it will does, like every time we are going to lose the focus from the widget, it will trigger this function that is created over here. I will explain you shortly. So we have the geometry method that we have used over here is pack. And then we have created one label. So this label will be displaying the message, the error message that you were seeing earlier. It was displayed using this label. And then I have created one more entry box. I have not provided any information for this one. It is just so that whenever we will lose the focus, it will come to this one. The focus will come to this one. That is the only purpose for that. And lastly, but most important, we are using the main loop. If we won't use the main loop, we won't be able to see the screen. So it's a kind of infinite loop. Now let me explain you the function that we are doing. First thing first, we have fetched the information that is stored in the name.get, the entry box, and we have stored it in a variable called n. Then first we have checked the length of n equals to 0. That means if user has not provided any input, he will see this message, name cannot be empty. Now, in case if user has provided some input, it will come to the else part. Now, once it is in the else part, I have used to try and catch exception handlers, so that in case if there is any kind of mistake, we can see the error message. So I can let me quickly explain you what in exception we have saved. So exception as EP, that means whatever the error has been appeared will be appear through the medium of this pop-up box. It will be a message box. Now, so inside the try block, I have used the if condition, and I have used this any function. What does an any function do? It returns the true value if any of the condition is true, which means you can also call it as an or. Like if there are two conditions, if any or one of them is true, then it will return true. So in this case, I have used any on this ch.isDigit. So what I am checking for number. If the string contains any number, it will return error message, name cannot have numeric value. So I have used a for loop over here, and the variable like ch.digit and then for ch in n. So this is how I have iterated over each character in the name and checked if there is no number in that. In case if there is no number, if there is a number, he will see this error message. And if there is no number, the loop will the program will move to the next loop or next condition. That is, I have used elif. It will check the length. If the length of a name is smaller than 3 characters, I can say that. If it is 3 characters, it will be accepted, but less than 3 characters, it won't be accepted. Then I have set the maximum length. If the name is greater than 300 characters, it will throw an error. And in the end, what I have done, I have set the value to the empty. So in case if all the conditions are true, the message should be no message should be displayed over there. And in case if there is already a message over there, it should be erased. So this is what I have done in this program. And let me run the program once again so that you can compare things. So this is the entry box. 2 entry boxes we have created, and we have created one label right over here, which will appear when the error will come. So you can see, since it was an empty, it is showing an error message. The other method that to do this is validate. So here is the code for the validation. It will also work similar way, but the change is in the above code, we were using the event bind function to create an event, like we have created event over here. But in this case, we don't have to do that. We don't need to write event over here, and we don't need to use the bind function. We are using an inbuilt option inside the Tkinter entry box, that is validate and validate command. What does the validate do? It's a mode. We can provide any mode. We can change it to focus in, focus, or we can change it to key, like if anytime any key will change, the function will be triggered. And this is the function that will trigger whenever this, whatever the event is provided over here. You can call it as a mode. So rest everything is same. In the end, we have to write true so that it do not end. Like if I won't write true, it will run just once. After that, it will stop and it won't work again. Let me show you the implementation of this code as well. This is also the same. All the things are same. It just so these are the two ways of doing things, validating the entry boxes, like especially the entry boxes. And these things can be applied on a spin box as well, and other widgets as well, who are through which we accept the user input.
Learn how to create number guessing game using Python Tkinter. These are the topics that we are going to cover. We will start with the overview of application, where I will show you how the application works. After that, I will discuss about the random module, which is the main module being used in this under the hood. After that, we will start writing the code, and I will show you how you can create this application. In the end, I will discuss some scope of improvement that you can do by yourself in this application. Please stay tuned till the end of this video, and if you like the video, please consider subscribing to our channel. With these words, let's get started. So this is the application that we are going to create, and in this application, the software generates a random number and player must guess it. The player has 3 attempts to guess the number.
You can change the number of attempts as well. As a hint, software will tell whether the number entered is greater or smaller from the randomly generated number. So based upon that, user can make changes to his input. So let me go ahead and show you the application. So this is the application that you have seen on the presentation. So in this application, the system has already generated a random number. I need to guess that number. So let's go with this 7. Alright, so 7 is a smaller number and we have 2 attempts left. So 7 is smaller, that means the number ranges between 8 to 10. I know how it ranges between 8 to 10 because the range that I have provided is between 0 to 10. So random number has been generated between 0 to 10. So let's give it 9. Alright, so 9 is also smaller, that means the number is 10. Since we are left only with the last number. So the moment I have clicked on 10, you can see I am getting a message which says you won. 10 is the right answer. So let's go ahead and see how we can create this application using Python Tkinter. But before that, let's discuss about this main module, which is random module that has been used in order to generate a random numbers in this Python Tkinter application. So it's a built-in module to generate a random number. It comes pre-installed with the Python. If you have Python, you can simply go ahead and import random and it will be ready to use. After that, it provides a wide variety of functions, like you can generate the random numbers, you can generate random numbers in integer and bytes, you can generate a choices, you can shuffle the choices, etc. It's time to understand the code now. So I have already written the code. I will explain you line by line. First thing first, I have imported everything from Tkinter. So from Tkinter, import asterisk. And then I have imported the random module, that is import random. I have created an object for TK. So the name of the object is WS, and using that object I have created a title for the window with the name Python guides, and then I have provided a geometry of 600 by 400. I have provided a background color to the window. So here you can see that Python guides is the title. This is the geometry that you are seeing right now, and this is the code for the bluish background color. Now after that, I have used this random.randint. So randint is used to generate the random numbers in integers only. So that's why it is randint. And then you have to provide the range, the starting number and the end number. The starting number is 0 and end number is 10. That means the numbers will be generated between this range only. After that, I have created a variable with the name chance, and I have provided a default value that is 3. That means user will have 3 chances only. If you want to provide more chances, you can increase that number over here. This is the var string var. So these are the text variables that I have created, and the var is for the entry widget that I have created over here at the bottom. Here you can see that. And the next one, string display var, is for the label. So I have created 2 labels in this program. Let me show you. So one is this one that you are seeing over here, and the next one is the one which is displaying a result. So since we need a dynamic text over here, that's why I have used a text variable over here, and I have provided a disp, and disp is having a string values. Since the result has string and integer both, that's why I have used string. Let's talk about the GUI part. First of all, I have created a label with capital L. Then I have placed it inside a WS, which is an object for TK, which is a main window, you can say that. Then text that we want to see is number guessing game, which you are seeing over here. Font we have provided sans serif with 20 font size. Solid is equal to relief. This is the border that you are seeing around it. It's because of the solid, that relief that we have provided solid. Then pad X and pad Y. The pad X is this space, and pad Y is this space. Background color is this. So the orange color that you are seeing over here is this one. Then we have packet. The geometry manager that we have used is pack geometry manager, and we have provided a pad Y of 10. So 10,0, that means there will be a space on the top, but there won't be any space at the bottom. After that, I have created an entry widget, which I have placed on the main window, that is WS. Text variable is var, and then font same that we have provided to this one, but the size is different this time. This is 18. Pad Y, same geometry manager we have used, that is pack, and the pad Y that we are using, pad Y is 50 and 10. 50 means there will be a space on the top, and space of 10 will be assigned at the bottom of this entry widget. After that, there is a button. So button is also placed on the same window, and the text is submit guess. So click on it and it will display the submit guess. Font is same as the entry widget. Command. So command holds a name of a function, which the name of the function is check_guess. This we are going to discuss. After that, we have positioned it using the same geometry manager, which is pack. In the end, we have created another label, which is also placed on the same window, and it has a text variable as disp. So background color is this, which is the same as the background color of the window. Font is this time 14. Same font name. Pad y is 20, that means the space on the top of this widget is 20 and there is no space at the bottom of this widget. In the end, we have started a main loop in order to hold the screen and we can see the updates. Now let's discuss about the function. So the name of the function is check_guess. It do not accept any argument. Here we have declared global variables that we have created on the top. Whatever the random number has been generated over here, that we are going to use over here. Since you know, we have to use this global word because we wanted to refer this one, because every time we create a variable inside a function, the scope of that variable is limited to that function only. But since we want to use this variable from the outside of this function, that's why we have to use this global word over here. Similar global word we have used for chance as well, because we wanted to know whether user has a chance to perform another attempt or not. User IP. So this is the variable which holds the information of var.get. So var.get is the entry widget. So whatever user has provided the input, that information is being stored in this thing. Now we are starting a ladder, if-else ladder. So if chance is greater than 0, that means if user has a chance. If it is greater than 0, if user has a chance, then it will enter into the inside this ladder. Otherwise, if user don't have any chance, then this message will be displayed which says user has 0 attempts left and user has 0 chances left and he lost the match. Now let's understand what if the user has a chance and then what all things will happen. So first thing first, whatever user has provided input, it will be compared with the random number using double equals to operator, which is a comparison operator. So we are comparing. If it matches, then the message will be displayed which says you won. This was the number. This is the right number. So whatever user has input will be the right number, or whatever the system has generated will be considered. So it will display whatever the number has been generated randomly. So this could be either user input or this can be this system generated random number, because both are same. So it's the right answer. So this is the message that user will be get, and this message is being stored in this variable with the name msg. This is the label, last label. We have used a set operation over there and we have displayed the message. Next is else if user IP. If the number that user has entered is greater than the number that system has generated, in that case the chance value, so earlier it was 3, it will be decreased by 1. So now 2 chances are remaining and the message will be displayed, the number is greater. That means user has to provide smaller number in order to win the game. You have these many chances left. Third letter will be if the number entered by the user is smaller than the number generated by the computer. In that case also the chance will be reduced by 1. And the message that will be displayed to the user is the number is smaller. In the end, we have created an else part which says something went wrong. So in this way, so this is how you can create this application. Let's run it once again. Now let's play it. So we have 0 is smaller, that means we have to enter some number. 6 is greater, so let's say 6 is greater, I have to enter 3 or 4. Let's type 4. 0 attempts left, I have already lost the game. So with this we have learned how to create this application. So these are the few scope of improvement that you can do with this application, and you can make it a wonderful application. So first is you can add a clear and close button. So in our application, if user wants to exit, he has to click that red cross button on the top right corner, but you can create one as well. Other is you can convert it into an object-oriented programming that will make this program more efficient. And you can also convert it into a multiplayer game. At the end, you can on the right side you can see that we have created this interface. We will provide the source code for this as well. So you can add this where you can add instructions to play this game. You can add settings where you can change the color or background color of the application. You can click on the quit button in order to close the application. And when the user clicks on the start button, then he will be seeing that interface, that game interface. So all these things you can do. Other than that, you can also do few more things. Let's say, so let me run the application in order to show you that. Now here you can take the range. You can, on the first page, you can accept the range of numbers that you want, that the user can provide. Like it could be from 0 to 10, or it could be 0 to 100, or between 10 to 100, something like that. Other than that, you can also accept the number. You can also provide user to change the number of chances. So all these things can be made dynamically. That will make this application more beautiful and more functionful. like more functions can be added. So all these were our input. In case if you have any other suggestion, you can just write it in the comment section of this video.
To create a BMI calculator using Python Tkinter. So I am using VS Code on my Ubuntu operating system, but you can follow this tutorial on any operating system irrespective of the code editor. So let's get started. So before we start, let me show you the application that we are going to build. So this is a simple BMI calculator. It is asking for my age, so I can put in 25 and I can select my gender, and then so it is 180 centimeter and the weight is 65. So if I will click on calculate, it will show me the result. So my BMI is 20.1 and which is normal. There are a couple of more buttons, like I can click on reset to clear all the inputs, and I can click on exit to close the program. Now let's go ahead and see the program. So I have written the code already. I will be explaining you each and every step. So you can see on in this output we have a box and we have a title, that is Python guides. So first of all, we have imported everything from Tkinter, that is from Tkinter import everything. And we have also, since we have to display the message in a message box, so we have imported message box separately. Now we have created our first window, that is a main window, and we have named it as WS. And we have provided the title, that is pythonguides.com, that you can see over here. Then the geometry is 400 by 300. So the width is 400 and the height is 300. And then the config, this BG68E6E70 is the background color that you are seeing over here. It's a gray color. And then I have started an infinite loop. Infinite loop is important so that we can see the screen. Next is we have to create widgets. So in this program, you can notice that we have one is the frame that we have set over here. This is the first widget, and inside the frame we have put the label, the entry boxes, radio buttons, and then we have placed some buttons. A few more things. I have used 3 frames in this GUI. First is the one that you are seeing outside, this one, the bigger one, and the other one is over here for the radio buttons. I have arranged the radio buttons inside a frame. And third one is I have used it inside the button, like I have placed all the buttons inside the third frame. So this is the coding that the naming convention is very easy. So age_LB means age label. That means the one we are seeing over here. Enter age to between 2 to 120. And similarly, if I have to create a text field for the same one, or the entry field for the same one, I have named it as age_TF. That stands for text field. So I have done this this thing with all of the names. So you can see male_RB means male radio button, female_RB means female radio button. Now I have provided the height LB means this part, the one you are seeing written over here, and the height TF means text field or entry box. So this is how I have taken the input. Now let's jump to the function, the function, the main thing in this program. So before we jump into the function, let me explain you what actually the BMI is. So let's go to the Google and search for what is BMI. So BMI is simply a body mass index. It is a measurement of a fat based upon your height and width of the body. And the formula for formula, I'm not good at mathematics, or I am also not a health practitioner. So I have copied the formula from internet. You can also find it. And so the formula is this one: BMI is equal to weight in kg divided by height in meters, meter square. So it's meter into meter. So to create a first of all, what I have done, I have taken input of the user in kg. This is the weight. So weight underscore text field dot get means it will fetch the value that is provided inside this text field over here, and it is then converted into integer, since we have to deal in, like, we have to perform mathematical operations. So it is important that it is a number. So I've converted it into integer. By default, it is a string. So I have done the same thing with height as well. But the additional thing that I have done with the height is, whatever we have requested the height in a centimeter. So I have converted the centimeter into meter by dividing it by 100. Now, once I have the value in kilograms and meters, then I have put the value inside this formula. So the variable I have assigned is BMI, and kg divided by m into m, that is m meter square. Now, once I did that, in the second step, I have I have changed the value into a round. So why it is important? Let me show you real quick. If I just comment this out, and let me close the program. If I run it once again, you will see. So these two are not operational, so I won't be providing the value for them. It's just 180 and weight is 65. So you can see now the result is coming into the multiple decimal values. But using that round function, what was happening? It was converting it into it was rounding of the values. So it was becoming 20.1. That's why the round function is used over here. So let me show you once again so that you can just compare it. It was 180 divided by 65. So it's 20.1, which is normal. Now, moving forward, now once we have the value over here, the value, let's say 20.1 is stored over here now. Now what we have done, we have called a function that is BMI underscore index, and we have passed a value of BMI inside it, that is 20.1 inside it. So we have created this function. Now the reason behind creating this function is, we have the value. Now we have to compare the value with the category. So what is the category? So the categories are like this. So if you have a BMI of less than 18.5, then you are underweight. And if it is between 18.5 to 24.9, then you are on a normal weight. And if it is above 25 or above 25 and between 29.9, then it is overweight. And above 30, it is obesity. So depending upon this, I have created a condition over here. So every time, once I have the BMI, I can just compare it with the number. If the condition is satisfied over here, then this message box will be displayed with the message BMI equals to whatever the BMI is, and the message with underweight. So this will happen with all the categories. And in case if there is some kind of if the garbage value has been provided, or something, like if the user has provided alphabet, Then he will be seeing a message which says something went wrong, and you can just modify this message if you want. And you can also put it in the try and catch to handle these exceptions. So you can see this is how the result is appearing. I should have provided the result over here on the top.
We will learn how to create a simple countdown timer using Python Tkinter. I'm using VS Code on Ubuntu operating system, but you can follow this tutorial on any operating system irrespective of the code editor, but it must have Python installed in it. So there are 6 steps to create a countdown timer. First thing is to import a module, then to create and configure main window, start a main loop, global declaration, add widgets, and create functions. Let's see all of these into an action. So I already have a code with me. So you can see we have imported a modules over here. The modules are import time. Then we have imported all the modules of Tkinter, the asterisk sign, and then we have imported message box. The second step is to configure a main window. So we have created a variable WS that stands for workspace, and we have stored the value of TK inside it. So now we will be using WS wherever we need to use our TK function. So we have provided a geometry that is of 300, 250. That is 300 is the width, 250 is the height, and this 1500 is the X position on the screen, and 700 is the Y position. You can also see a title that is Python guides and a background color provided to the application. So let me give you a quick demo of the application, how it looks like. So you can see it is opening on the very right side of the screen because we have positioned it on the 1500 plus 700. So 700 this and 1500 this. So this is a simple application. If you will click on start, the reverse counting will start. Now let's and once the time is up, it will show you a pop-up message that is time's up. And this message is appearing because we have imported this library message from Tkinter import message. The third step is to start a main loop. We were able to see the screen just because of this main loop. Main loop is an infinite loop that runs and keep on displaying the updated screen. The fourth part is to add widgets. So the widgets that we are going to that we are using here is here are, you can see 3 of the entry boxes and 1 button. So here you can see there is 1 entry box over here, second entry box for minutes, third entry box for seconds. And there is a button with the name start button, only 1 button. And the geometry method that we are using over here is place. You can see over here. So as you all know, there are 3 geometry methods: track, grid, and place. So we are using place here. Now once we have placed the widgets, we have to declare some global declarations. I was not getting a proper word for this, so I have written global declaration. So in global declaration, we have provided the common font size for all the for all the widgets. You can see over here, font equals to F, and the value of F is font will be Arial, and this with this 24 size. Now we have used text variables over here. Text variables are used when we have to create, when the value keep on changing, then we use text variables. So there are 3 methods actually for this. One is the Boolean, second is the string, and third one is the integer. So, but we are using here string variables. You can also use, since these are numbers, so you can also use int var. And this part of the code tells us like the default value that we have set in our application. So you can see if we just rerun the application has 0000 and the seconds value is 10. Now let's run the application once again to see the same thing. So you can see 0000 and 10. If we change this 10 to 05, then next time when we will run the application, you can see it's 05 and we will start the application. It will start from 5. Now, time's up. Let's close the application. Now, once we have globally declared these declarations, these things, then the last thing is to create a function. Now, let me explain you the function. So the name of the function is start countdown, and this function will be called when the button will be clicked. So you can see over here, the button has a command, start countdown. So what this function is doing, we are using try and catch in case the user has provided any other input apart from the numbers. Let's say in our application, instead of 5, user has provided A, then it should show some message to the user that this input is not acceptable or something like that. So we will be displaying invalid input. So once I have clicked on start, it will show me a prompt which says invalid input. So anything apart from integer, anything apart from number will be entered. If entered here, it will show invalid input prompt. Now you can see over here, we have converted the this function. The get function is used to pull the information from the entry boxes. So our is the variable used for the entry box over here. So as you can see over here, we have used our.get. So our is the text variable that we have used over here, and it is referring to the entry box. So any value provided in this entry box will be fetched here, will come up over here. But as you all know, whenever we take input from the entry box, it is in a string. It has a string data type. So, and if we will perform operations like arithmetic operations on the string, it will not give us the value that we want. Like if you will use plus operation, then it will concatenate instead of adding up. So we have converted it into int, that is integer. So now if you will add 2 plus 2, it will become 4. Earlier with the string, it was becoming 2 plus 2 is equal to 22. Same thing we have done with all the 3, that is minutes, seconds, and hours, and we have combined them, or we have added all of them. So let's say user has provided input for hour as 1. So 1 multiplied by 3600 will become 3600. Now, let's say he has provided 0 as a minutes. So minutes will all remain 0. 0 multiplied by 60 will become 0. And let's say he has provided seconds, let's say 10 seconds. So 10 will be added to 3600 over here. So overall total will become 3610. So what will happen when we will start a loop? It will start counting in the reverse order. So in every second, it will keep on decreasing. That means when it will become 0, that means these many hours and seconds has been ended up. Now we are using a loop which says if the user input, what is the user input? We have kept all the values for this one as inside a variable with the name user input. So if the user input is, so this while loop will continue to work until and unless the user input is greater than -1, or it could, we can also type 0 over here. So the moment 3600 will be like it will come below 0, the loop will terminate and the program will be closed. We are storing the value we have created two variables, that is minutes and seconds, the short forms of them, and we are performing this div mod operation. This operation is similar to this double modulus operator, which means it will only give, I'm sorry, not a modulus operation, the division operation, which only gives the integer values. So user input like 3610 divided by 60. Now here, what we are doing in this section, we are categorizing the input, like categorizing the data in the form of, if it is greater than 60, that means it is minutes. If it is greater than 60 seconds, that means it is a minute. And if the minute is greater than if the minute is greater than 60, that means it's a second. It's an hour, I'm sorry. Now in this section, what we are doing, we are this 2D is to deal with the 2 digits number. Like you can see over here, we are displaying this double zeros in the starting, 00. So this 2D is used to deal with the format with double zeros. And we have done the same thing for hours, minutes, and seconds. We are using set operation over here. So we are setting the information. We are setting the change in the time on the hours, minutes, and seconds. ws.update means the screen will keep on updating itself. And time.sleep is what that plays a crucial role over here. If we will not add sleep over here, let's try once. If we just comment it out and try to run our program, so you will notice the application runs very fast. Like we are not able to, even we are not able to see. Let's make it 1. Let's see if we are, see how fast it is running. It is not running per second. It is just running in milliseconds. So to make it, to make the decrease in number every second, we are using time.sleep over here. That is why we have used this, imported this function time over here on the top. Now, if the user input, that means if 3610 has become 0, then it will show a message. It will show a prompt that says time's up. And every time the user input is decreasing over here, you can see. So this can also be represented as user input equals to user input -1. So this was the explanation of this application. We'll learn how to create to-do list using Python Tkinter. I am using VS Code on Ubuntu operating system, but you can follow this tutorial on any operating system irrespective of the code editor. But it must have Python installed on it. Let's get started. So I already have code with me, and I have divided this code in 5 sections. Before explaining the code, let me show you how our application will look like. So you can see here is a simple application. So we can see the task. We can add more tasks. By clicking on this button, now you can see one more task has been added. If you want to delete any task, we can just simply select
by clicking on it and then click on the delete button. You can see the task has been deleted. Let's say if we want to delete this eat apple is deleted, and if we want to add one more, we can add once again eat apple. Here we go. So if I want you to pay attention on this application, you can see over here. So we have a window with the background color. We have this list box with the scroll bar over here that will be activated when we will add new task. Any new task when it will be added, it will be the scroll bar will be activated. And there is an entry box that will take user input, and there are two buttons. One is to add the task and another one is to delete the task. Now let's come back to our code section. So the first section is import module. So we are importing Tkinter. We are importing all the modules in the Tkinter in Tkinter, and then we are importing message box to display a message. So in case user has not provided any input and he is trying to click on add task, then he should get a prompt. Please enter some task. So that is why we have used this library to display a message. Coming to the next point, that is number 2, that is configure and create main window. Main window is also referred to as a parent window. So here we are initializing the module of Tkinter library, that is TK, and we are storing the value in a variable WS, that stands for workspace. Now we are now every time when we have to use this module, we will refer it with the WS. So WS, now we are setting the geometry. So as you can see, this height and width of the application. So 500 is the height and 500 is the width and 450 is the height. Remaining 500 plus 200 is the position. So let me write once again. So as you can see, the application has appeared on the screen. So this is like 500 to the X position and 200 from the Y position. That is from the top to bottom. If we would have not provided anything over here, then the application would have appeared over here like this. Now, the WS title is Python guides. The title appears on the top of the window. Then is the BG color. We have configured the background color. You can see it's a dark blue color. And then we have disabled the resizing property of the window. Like you cannot resize the window. If you will try to resize it, it will not give you an option, neither from the top, neither nor from the left and right. So you cannot resize the window. Now the next point, third point is to start a main loop. We are able to see this window because of the infinite loop running. So we have to start this main window loop. Now we have to place our widgets. So the widgets that we are going to use here are, first is frame. Like the frame is where we are putting all of the things, like especially this list box and the scroll bar, and then the list box. Sorry. So this is a list box that allows us to add and remove items. And then entry is used to take user input. Like user can add more of their items. And then the button, there are two buttons. One is to add the task and another one is to delete the task. So we have created a frame. The purpose behind using the frame is like it allows us to put the scroll bar in a better way. So in a frame, on the right side we can place the scroll bar, and on the left side we can place the other widget, like in this case list box. So this is the list box. We are putting it inside the frame. That's why we have used frame here. And we have put the frame on the parent window object, that is WS. Now Here's the width, height, and font we have assigned to it. Thickness is 0. So this highlight thickness is 0. That means the when we are clicking on this, you can see that there is some kind of gray kind of background, whichever object is selected. That is that has a thickness 0. Selected background is gray. And the geometry method we are using is pack. So you can see we have packed this list box to the left side of the frame. Then these are the list of tasks that we have pre-assigned. Like whenever we are starting the application, there are already some tasks. And this is the for loop to insert. Like we are using the insert command to insert the task inside this list box. Now here comes the scroll bar. So scroll bar is also placed inside the frame, and it is packed on the right side of the frame. This is the configuration for the scroll bar. To know more about the scroll bar, we have a special section for that, special blog for that. We will put the link in the description box. Then we are using entry box. You can see this is my entry is the variable and that holds the information of entry box. It also has a font of times and with the font size of 24. So now the buttons, since we have placed 2 buttons, so we have also used frame here so that we can place the buttons parallel to each other. So we have called that frame as a button frame, and we have put that frame inside the main, that is parent window. And now while adding the buttons, we have placed the button inside the frame, that is a button frame. So button to read more about buttons, you can read in a special section that we have in our blog, and we have also provided the link in the description box. The command that we have provided, this command means the thing that will happen when the button will be clicked. So we have created this command, this function over here that we will be explaining shortly. Now this has a command as a delete task. So let me quickly explain you the function of a delete. So because it is small, so you can see delete task, simply we have used lb.delete anchor. So lb is a list box, the variable that we have created for a list box, and then delete command. Delete is a it is a built-in command. We can use delete, and anchor refers to the selected item, but whichever item, like right now I have selected Go Gym, so by default it is an anchor. So if I will click on delete, it will be deleted from the list. Now coming to the new task, that is the main function that adds the information on the list box. So what we have done over here on the first line is we have like my entry.get. This will take the information, whatever the information has been provided by the user in the entry box. So whatever the information has been entered will be fetched using the get function and will be stored in a variable called task. Now, if it is not an empty string, then there will be an information inserted inside the list box. So this is the command that we are using, that is insert. And this end means every time we are putting the information, it is added into the in the end of the list box. Let's say if I am adding go for a walk, then it will be added in the end of the list box. If we will not, we can also mention any kind of index number, like you can mention 0, 1. If you will mention 0, then all the tasks will be added on the top. And if you will mention 1, then all the tasks will be added on the second position. And the task, whatever the task we want to assign. So task is whatever the user has provided the input. Third is my entry.delete 0. And this command is used to delete whatever the user has provided input inside the list box. Inside the entry box. So you can notice over here,
whatever we are, let's say we have written new task. I'm sorry. So once we will click on the add task, this list box will go empty. Like this, this entry box will go empty. So you can see that this is empty. So this is happening because of this command over here. And if there is no information provided, no information is mentioned in the entry box, and user is trying to click on the add task, then it will throw an error. Please enter some task. That is happening because we have kept this under else part. So if that means task is an empty string right now. So that's why the user will see a warning message which say, please enter some task. With this, we have learned how to create an list box.
Today I will show you how to create a Word document using Python Tkinter. In this tutorial, we will create an application to generate experience letter for employees who are leaving the organization. This is how the application will look like. In this application, user need to provide the employee ID, name, designation, joining date, end date, and gender of the employee. And on clicking on Generate Word button, it will generate a Word file with the name experience letter. So this is how the experience letter will look like. It has a company logo, employee ID, name, joining date, end date, designation, and since in the application gender was selected as male, so in our sentence we have used he, him, his for the employee. So now let's go ahead and see how we can create this software. Go to the website pythonguides.com and search for the section Create Word Document in Python Tkinter. We have provided the link of this website in the description below. Over here in the table of content, click on Complete Source Code of Creating Word Document using Python Tkinter. Now copy the entire source code from here. Go to the desktop, and here we are going to create our project. Start the command prompt. Now I am going to create a folder with the name project. Now inside that project, I am going to create a main file in which we are going to save the entire source code that we have copied from the website. So here is the file. I will open it in edit mode and paste all the code that I have saved copied from the website. Close it. Next step is we have to create a virtual environment, and in that virtual environment we have to install a library, Python docs. This is a very powerful library that helps us to create and update Word file. I have created the virtual environment. Now I am going to activate it. Okay, it's time to install the library. Pip install Python-docx. The library has been successfully installed in our environment. Now we have to create two more folders inside this folder. Files and output. Inside files, we will keep all the images that we are going to use in this application. An experience letter will be generated inside the output folder. Okay, now we are all set to run the program. So you can see the GUI has appeared. You can change the information. Just click on the clear button to clear the information, and you can fill in your information. Click on the generate word button to generate the experience letter. You can see that experience letter has been generated. Alright, now we will try to understand the code. So this is the most important thing, like we have to create an instance of document in order to proceed. All the further activities will be performed on the instance created for this document. So first of all, we have imported this document, and then we have imported few more things from the docs module. And here we have imported the Tkinter information. This is where we have created an instance for Tkinter, and we have assigned a title, geometry, and background color. This is the font type and size of the given to the application. Since we had only two options, male and female, so we have provided over here. This function will clear all the fields in the Tkinter application. If I'll click on the clear button, it will clear all the fields. This is the main function, def generate, that we have called using the button def generate button. So here we have created a data variables, and these variables we have used further in the program when we have started working with the Python docs library. So it has a logo path, it has a path where we have to store the file, it has a signature file path, then the name of the CEO or the director, and the heading. All the things that you are seeing with .get bracket open close, all these are the Tkinter entry boxes. These are the entry boxes. So we are fetching information using the get method and storing it in a variable like employee ID, employee name. This information is the information available on the very bottom of the page. It's a company information. Now for gender specifying, like you have noticed over here, if the gender is selected female, then the sentence would have been, she is hardworking and a good team player. We wish her all the success in her future endeavor. Right now it is written his because we have selected male over there. So that thing can be changed from here. We have created three variables for the same, gen 1, gen 2, gen 3, and whatever the information is fetched from the option menu, whatever the information is fetched from here is compared. If it is male, then gen 1 will be assigned he, gen 2 will be assigned his, gen 3 will be assigned him, and accordingly is done in the case of female. This information is used while creating a body text. For creating a body text, we have used formatted string, and we have applied gen 2, gen 3, gen 4 wherever required. From here, the actual working of Python docs module is starting, since we are creating an instance for the document, and we are storing the value in doc. Section is the page that we are looking at right now. If it has been split into two, then it can be split into 2 and 4 using the section thing. Here we have created a margin. So the page margin of Word file, if you will go to the layout section, margin, custom margin, you can see you can match the values 0.004, all of these values right over here. Then we have added first thing that we did on the screen is added an image. Image can be added using add-picture function. This requires two parameters, where first is the path of the image. Path of the image is the mandatory parameter that we have to provide. Second one is the width and height of the image. So you can provide the width and height in inches or centimeters. We have used inches here. In order to use inches, you have to import it in the at the very top. You can see we have imported inches right over here. PT is used for assigning the font size. We have added some spare and we can put it in the center using these two commands. We have added some space after this before we can write the employee ID. Employee ID is provided as style normal. So style is basically these predefined templates right over here. So we have used normal for the style one. If I click on employee ID, you can see it is automatically showing that we have selected normal. Add paragraph is the most important function method, as it is being used most of the time. Because if you want to add any text on the Word file, you have to use add paragraph. Add paragraph method performs single run, but if you single run means you can write only anything, you can do only one thing. But if you want to do more than one things, then you have to add few more runs. So we have using add run function, you can perform multiple activities instead of one. Then we have added few more spaces. Then heading style. Heading is this one. First of all, the body style is selected as body text. Right now it's not available, otherwise it would have been automatically selected. We have placed it in the center using this command. So you can provide the high font size using PT function. So you can see PT 20. Then moving forward, we have body text. Body text is all of these texts you are seeing right here. So we have used we have created a variable on the top, and we have used the same variable right here, and we have provided it 14 and Times New Roman. You can see Times New Roman 14. Then we have added few more lines, empty lines. Then we have added a signature and stamp image and a direct. Then we have added some company description, and using doc.save, you can save the file on your computer. It will require the path where you want to save and the file name. The file name must be ending with docx extension. Now from here we are starting with the Tkinter thing. So frame, we have put everything on the frame. All the widgets are placed on the frame. Label is anything that you are seeing, like employee ID, employee name, designation, anything in written form is a label. Then entry boxes, all the boxes where user can provide input are the entry boxes. This is the option menu created right over here. Then we have created another frame for the buttons you are seeing right at the bottom. Also we have provided default inputs in the entry boxes. If you want to clear this default inputs, click on the clear button and they will be removed. Submit button, we have created 3 buttons: submit button, clear button, exit button. Submit button, when clicked, triggers the generate function, that is the main function. Clear triggers the clear input function that we have created on the top to clear the fields, and exit button will destroy this window and it will close the program. In the end, we have used ws.main loop, which is responsible for holding this screen, otherwise the screen would have been gone. We are able to see all the changes because of the main loop. We will learn how to create payslip generator using Python. We will be teaching you both the ways, that is console based, and Tkinter, that is GUI based. So let's get started. So recently we got this requirement of creating this payslip console based application. So this was the question in that. So let me show you how the CLI based application will look like. This is how it will look like. So in this, employee has to enter their name, the rate per hour, and the duty, like number of hours they are working, and then the SS contribution, PHIL, health, and housing loans. So once all these information has been filled, the entire thing will be generated automatic. So in this you can see the employee information is mentioned and the deductions. At the end, the net salary, that is the in-hand salary for the employee, is generated. Now let's see the same application in GUI. So this is how it will look like when we will create it using Tkinter. So this is the form. So once the form has been filled, you can click on the calculate button. It will generate this kind of interface. Now if you will click on the clear button, it will clear all the entry boxes, and exit will close the program. Similar thing it will do over here. Close will close this window only. It won't close the entire program. It will just close this window. This close. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and learn how we can create this application. And before we start, just wanted to inform you all the source code that we are going to use in this project in this video is already available on our website. The link is in the description box. Visit the link and you will be able to see everything that we have explained so far and whatever things we are going to explain in further video. So you can copy the source code and you can use it. Okay, now let's jump to my favorite code editor, that is VS Code, to explain you how the code works. So first of all, I am going through with the CLI part, that is the command line one, or you can say the console one. So here we have created a variable in which we are taking the user input. Since the input is a string like employee's name, so we are accepting it as it is. The input function, whatever the information is stored in the input function is in a string data type, and we want the information in a string. That's why we are not changing it. On the other hand, rate per hour, we want this information in a float as per the requirement mentioned. So we want it in a float format, float data type. So we have mentioned the float over here, and then input, and then the name, like the message that we want to display. Similar thing we have done with all the other data types, all the other options. Now once we did that, this is the message that you are seeing while running the program. So let me run the program so that you can see this. So it is asking for the name, so let me enter my name. Rate per hour, that means let's say 91 per hour, and duty, that is number of hours I have worked in a day, that means let's give it 8. SS contribution, you can give any value, it is decided by the HR team. PHIL health, let me give it 115. Housing loan 117. Now you can see the information has been generated over here, and here is my net salary, that the salary that I am going to get in my hand. So now let's see how it has been created over here. So this is the formula that we are using, and the same formula was provided in the requirement sheet. So first of all, we have to find the gross salary. Gross salary is the rate per hour multiplied by number of hours the person or an employee worked. Then the tax. So tax is the 10% of the gross value. So whatever the gross value has been generated over here, we have applied a 10% on that. Then the deductions, total deductions will be the S3 stands for triple S contribution, and then the PHIL health, loan, and tax. These all information has to be if we combine all these information, it becomes the total deduction that has to be deducted from the gross salary. So whatever the amount was for the gross salary, deducting the total deductions will give us the net salary. So this is the formula we have used, and to display the information we have used the formatted string. You can see the curly braces. This means it's a variable. So this is how we have displayed the information using the CLI. Now let's go ahead and see how we have done the same thing using the Python Tkinter. That's a GUI based. So first thing first, we have to import everything from the Tkinter module, and then we have also created one module over here. Let me explain that module first. So this is the module that we have created, and inside this module we have created this function with the name payslip. It accepts the employee name, duty, hours, then rate. All of these things will be clear when we will be explaining the main.py. So actually in this we have used the place geometry manager. So what it does, it allows us to put the value exactly on the screen wherever we want to. So like if I am placing my mouse cursor over here, so there will be some kind of x and y value for this one. So this is how we can place it to an exact, we can place our widgets to an exact place where we want. In the end, we have placed a button in that. So basically what this formula is doing, it is accepting the parameters and it is displaying the information. That's it. Now once this formula is being used in this main.py, let's see where it has been used. So first thing, we have created an instance of the object of Tkinter, and we have named it as WS. I call it as a workspace. Then we have provided a title, that is Python guides, then the payslip generator, Then the geometry is the size of height and width that we see of the window. It is a window size. So this is the width and this is the height. Now we have provided a font. We don't require actually this code. I'm sorry, I have not removed it earlier. Now this is the clear button that we have created. This is the EMP number. It's a entry box variable name, and we have applied delete on that. 0 means the start point and end means the last character of the. Moving forward, we have the main, that is the main function. So first of all, what we have done, we have fetched the value from the entry boxes. So we have created the GUI. You can see these are the labels. So whatever information you are seeing before, like on the left side of the entry box, are these labels. So employee name, rate per hour, duty. So here is the entry box. So this is the variable name I have provided to this entry box, and I have placed it inside the main frame. Main frame is another frame. It becomes easy if you put all the widgets in the same frame, like some kind of frame. So if you have to move them to the left or right, it becomes easy. You just need to move the frame. And then here we are using the grid placement, like a geometry manager. So grid allows us to store the values in a row and column format. So it starts from the very top left corner and stores in right. Like it becomes easy if you have to store the information in right, like column and row and column format. Here we have inserted the default values for the form. So once I will run the program, run the application, you will see that the values are already filled inside the entry boxes. So that becomes little handy. And this code is also not required because we have used it inside the function. So now I am fetching the information from this entry box over here using the get method. So emp name.get means whatever information that user has inserted in that entry box will be fetched and stored in the variable with the name ename. Same is done with all of these. Now once we have done that, we have to change the data type. We have not changed it for the ename because we want it as a string. Rest all of them we have changed. We have changed to float and we have reassigned the variable. So now we are using the small names over here. So gross salary, it will be rate per hour multiplied by the number of hours the person has done the duty, and similarly all of these things that we have explained in for the CLI one. Now here we have used the function that we have created over here. So you can see that the module name is sal.py and the function inside it is payslip. So we have used that, and this function accepts these many parameters. So we have created over here that these many parameters are required to run this function successfully. So we have provided all these parameters, and these parameters are not like belongs to these ones. These are these things right over here. Just a handy way of doing things. I know there could be a better way to do that, and please I would love to see your comments with your GitHub ID or some other place where you can show me like how I can do this more efficiently. Then we have created a label. In the end we have created buttons, and the most important thing, you have to mention the ws.main loop for Tkinter, like it holds the screen, otherwise you won't be able to see the screen, it will be too fast. So let's go ahead and run the program. So you can see the information is already inside this fields because we have provided the default information inside the entry boxes. So here 0 means the position of it. So 0 it, like we are starting from it. Now let me click on the calculate button, and one more thing you guys can notice. Let me run it once again. I have clicked on calculate button and the form has generated right over here. It has not generated here or here. It has generated here. It is because this thing you can control it right over here. Okay, so the form when I created this form, so right over here, this is for the width of this window and this is for the height of the window, and this position decides where you want to put it on the screen. So 500 plus 200, that means this position. So once I have clicked on the calculate button, you can see the name of the employee information, that is name of the employee, rendered hour, gross salary, rate per hour, and then the deductions are mentioned over here. You can click on the close button. If you will click on the exit button, it will close both the windows. But if you will click on the close button, it will just simply click on this button. So in case if you want to change the information, you can go ahead and change it from here and click on calculate once again. So this time the information different information will be displayed. Let's close it. You can clear the window. You can exit by clicking on the exit button.
Today we will learn how to create a sign up and login form using Python Tkinter. So before we get started, let me show you the application. So this is the application that we are going to build. So on the left side, we have a login panel, and on the right side, we have a sign up panel or a registration panel. So let's test this. So this record is not stored in the database. So let me just copy the password. Now, if I try to log in, it says invalid username or password. That means the information, this message is displayed if the information is not stored in the database or credentials are incorrect. So let me go ahead and quickly register this user. So we already have a email ID and we have the password. And now if I just need to enter the name. And like we have added the validations in this form. If I don't select any of the field, it will throw an error. So if I will try to register over here, it will say contact can't be empty. So we have to provide some contact. So this is a random number that I have provided, and let's say he's male and he's from Canada. So now one more validation that I want to show you, in case this enter password and re-enter password didn't match, in that case also it will throw an error. So let me add one more character into it. So password didn't match. So click OK, and I just remove that and register, record saved. Now if I just go on if I just go ahead and log in once again, so it will say logged in successful. Now, speaking of the database, let me show you how the database has been stored. So this is the software that we are using. Its name is DB Browser for SQLite. And let me quickly go ahead and connect to my database file. So this is the my database file. It ends with .db. And if I just click on browse data, you can see that the information has been entered over here. So let's get started with the code. I already have a code with me. I will be explaining you the functionality of this program. So first thing first, we have to import everything from Tkinter. Then we have to import message box so that we can just display the messages. And then we have to import the SQLite 3 so that we can just create a database and connect with the SQLite 3. The best thing about the SQLite 3 is it comes pre-installed with the Python, so you don't have to install it externally. And then this is the global font that we have declared here, so that we just need to type F. And then in the creation of database, first thing is to create a database. So the command is con is equal to SQLite3.connect, and then the name of a file that you want to provide to the database with the extension db. So in this case, I have provided userdata.db. So every time that when I will, if the file is missing from here, if I will run the program, it will create it automatically. Now cur.execute is used to create a table, and this command says create if not exist. So if the table is already there, it will not create it. And then the rows that we are using are name, email, contact, gender, country, and password. And all are in text except the contact number. The commit command writes the changes. Like in this software, we have this command over here, write changes. If I will make any alteration, so if I will make any changes, I just need to click on write changes, and then the changes will take place. So now you can see this button is active. I can click on write changes. So the same thing is done by the con.commit. Now we are starting our Tkinter application. WS is the main window, and we are initializing TK. This is the title of the window. And this is the geometry, the height and width. This is the background color. Now, if we scroll down, then we will see how I have created this interface. I have divided the entire application into two segments. One is the left frame and another one is a right frame. So see, frames are used to organize the widgets, like we can place other widgets on them. And it gives a control, like if I have to move all the widgets of the right frame, then I can just simply move right frame and it will move all the widgets. Now, all of this code is mentioned, like provided in with this video. So you don't have to worry about the code. And let's move to the function. So the first function that we have created over here is insert record. So whenever the user will click on the button, like after providing information, whenever he will click on register button, then this function will be activated. So what it will does, first of all, check counter is 0 and warning is 0. We have set it to the empty string. Now it will check if register.get, that means the information mentioned over here, if it is empty, if register.get equals to empty, then it will return this message, warning message, that is name can't be empty. Otherwise, it will add 1.1 to this counter, check counter. Now we will be doing the same thing with all the entry boxes. Like in this case, we are doing with the email, register email.get. If it is empty, then show the message which says email can't be empty. And if it is okay, then just add 1 point to the counter, increment the counter. And we have done same thing with everyone. Let me show you for this one, for the radio button. So for radio button, we have used this var.get. So what is var.get? Var.get is a string var that we have used for the radio button. Let me quickly search radio. It should be in the right, and yes. So here you can see the variable is assigned to a var. Var is a string var. So that means all the inputs that we are going to take are going to be string. If it would have been int var, then all the values should be in integer. So you can see value is in a string format. Otherwise, if it was it would have been integer, then the value would have been 1 to 3 like integer. Yeah, here we have just declared the var, and we have set the var default value to mail. So every time when I'm running the application, you can see mail is already selected. So in case user have not provided any input, mail will be taken as a default input. Now after I have after we have checked everything and we have displayed the message, we are checking these two boxes now, if these two boxes match with each other or not. So you can see register underscore pwd.get. This is the name of this text, this entry box, which says enter password. It is being confirmed with the password again .get, which is the second entry box. So if it matches, then one more increment will be made in the check counter. And if we will count all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and these are the 7 for the entry boxes, including the selection widgets. And the 8th one is the whether these are whether enter password and re-enter password are matching with each other or not. So 8. So we are checking if check counter is equals to 8, then only insertion command will be activated or applied. So what we are doing inside the insertion, first of all, we are connecting to our database. Then we are just creating con.cursor, and then we are executing. And while we are executing, there are three methods of inserting the data. But the best method that we find is the dictionary method. So we are using dictionary method over here, wherein you can see we are providing the key and the value, and in the end we are just doing con.commit. That means it will write the changes, and a confirmation box which says record saved. In case if there is some problem, an exception will occur with the, and it will tell you the what is the problem. EP means the problem. And if it is not 8, if it is less than 8, or there is no chance of getting greater than 8, but if it is less than 8, then you will be seeing a message, and the title of the message box will be error, and the warn will be the message that we have mentioned over here. So whichever text field having a problem, respective message will be displayed accordingly. Now with this we have completed this insert box. That means we have completed the registration part. Now let's go ahead and check the code for login section. So for login, we have a function with the name login response. So what does this does? First of all, same thing, we have to connect with the database. We have to create con.cursor. Now for row in c.execute. See, there is one more method of doing that is very simple, but that is more prone to SQL injections. So if you will be doing in this way, then there are very less chances of SQL injection. So this was mentioned on the official website of SQLite. So what we are doing, we are just setting over here, we have, so for row in c.execute, select asterisk from record. So each row that is coming, we are providing one, like we are setting username to 1 and password to 5. Actually, what is happening over here? The reason is, if you will see in the database, this is 0, name is at 0, email is at 1, index number, if you will check, name is at 0, email is at 1, then 2, 3, and password is at 5. So what we are doing, we are just fetching the information, and whatever the value is on the row 1, index 1, that will be stored over here, and that value is definitely going to be a username. That means email, and whatever the value is will be on the index number 5 is going to be a password. So this is what we can see from our database. So we have stored it in this way. Now what we have done, we have just fetched the information from our entry boxes, and that too from email.text field, that means from this one, and password underscore text field, that means it from this one. Now again we have run check counter is equal to 0. Same thing that we have done over here, we are doing over here. We are checking if the user has not provided any information, then error message should be shown over there. So if username is equals to empty, warn them. If it is okay, then just increment the value of check counter. Do the same thing with the password. Now, if check counter equals to 2, that means we only have a two entry boxes. So it's like if checkbox equals to 2, then perform the operation, that is username. If username equals to the username, this username is the one that we have fetched from the user, one that the user has provided, and this username is the one that we have fetched from the database. So if they both are equal, and instead of using or, we are using and, so that both the conditions should be should verify. So similarly, we are comparing this with this. Now if If the condition is satisfied, then it will show a message box which says logged in successful. Otherwise, it will say invalid username or password. And in case like if in case if the user has not provided any of the text field, like if he has not provided the password or the username, he will see a message which says password can't be empty or username can't be empty.
In this video, we are going to create a project that will help you to keep a track of all of your expenses. And luckily, this application that we are going to create is in Tkinter. So let's get started. These are the points that we are going to cover. So first of all, I will show you overview of application. So this is the application that we are going to create. In this application, you can see that this is the tree view, and these are the labels and entry widgets. So what you have to do, let's say you have one expense, let's say you have spent some money in your snacks. So you can just type over here snacks, and you can mention the amount. So let's say it cost you 100, and then you have to click on this current date, and it will display the current date of the system. In case if you want to change the date, you can simply go ahead and change the date manually from here. After that, you can click on save button to save the record. As soon as you will click on this save button, you can see that the information has been displayed on the screen. You can clear the entry to record another information. So let's say, so you can see the information is being displayed over here. And if you want to update any information, you can click on that item. Let's say if you want to update lunch, you can click on there, and you can change the value from 150 to 200. And you can click on the update button to update the information. Right now it is showing 150, and the moment I have clicked on update button, the information has been updated. You can also check your current balance. So this is hard-coded information. We have hard-coded as a 5,000 as a default money in that. So right now it is displaying current expenses, it is displaying 300, and the remaining balance it is showing 5,000 minus 300, that is 4,700. If you want to delete any record, you can click on the record, and then you can click on the delete button. The moment you will click on the delete button, the record will be deleted. Now you can go ahead and see your balance once again. So now it is showing 4,800. That means 100 rupees has been incremented in that. First of all, we will start with the building the database. So the database that we are using over here is SQLite 3, which comes built in with this Python. So if you have a Python installed in that, that means you are having SQLite inside already installed in that. In case if it is not installed, you can simply go ahead and type pip install and SQLite 3. So this is the code that we have written for creating the database and performing all the activities related to database. First thing first, we have imported SQLite 3, and here we have created a class for interacting with the database, and the name of the class is database. After that, I have created an constructor. Inside the constructor, I am accepting one parameter, so that will be the name of the database, whichever database name user wants to provide. After that, I am starting the connection. I am connecting to the SQLite 3 with the database name provided by the user, and then I have started the cursor. Using that cursor, I have executed my first query, which is create table if not exist. That means if the table is not already exist, then the new table will be created with the name expense record. In case if you want to change the name of the table, you can change it from here. And inside that table, I am accepting three columns. One is item name, that will be the name of the product that the user is going to purchase or you are going to purchase. The item of that, the price of that item, and the data type for the price is float, and for the text it was text. Purchase date, and the data type for this one is date. Moving forward, I have created few methods. One is to fetch the records from the database, where I have used this execute query, and I am accepting this parameter from the users. That means user can pass any query to fetch the information from here. So this is a kind of handy thing, like user can pass the filtered query as well. So if user want to fetch the information, suppose user wants to fetch only those products whose price exceeded 100 rupees. So he can just pass this query in the function when it will be calling it, like select asterisk from this, where and he can apply that thing. So this is a little handy, that's why I have written this way. Next is insert record. Insert record, we are using this insert query, which is insert into the name of the table, which is expense record, then the values, and 3 values we are going to accept. One is item name, item price, and purchase date. After that we are committing. So every time we make any changes in the database, we commit it. Then another method is remove record. This is to delete the record. So delete from expense record, which is the table name, where row ID. One thing I wanted to tell you, in SQLite database, there is a row ID that is created by default. So you don't need to create an ID for that, separate ID. It is generated automatically with the name row ID. So let me go ahead and show you where it is generated. So this is the software that we are using to see our database. So I'll just click on open database from here, and I'll navigate to the folder, and here I will see this. Now here you can see that I am inside my database right now, and this is my data. Since I have only one record, that's why it is showing 1. This thing, I was talking about this thing. Right now you are seeing 1 over here. So this is the row ID, and it keeps on generating automatically until unless you manually turn it off. So we are using this row ID in our program right over here. Now after doing that, the function is ready. Now I have turned it into a module. That means I have saved it with the name mydb.py, which I will further use it in my main program. Now we have learned about the database. Now let's go ahead and see how we can create this interface, and we can add the database in that. First thing first, you have to import all the functions from Tkinter. Then you have to create an object for Tkinter, which I have named as a WS, and I have added a title over there. In the end, I have started a main loop. So on line 230, you can see that it's a main loop which holds the screen, and that's why we are able to see the changes. Other than Tkinter, we have imported few more modules like TTK, which is a new member to Tkinter family, and it provides wide variety of widgets with the improved GUI. The other module is date time, because we need to fetch the date from the computer. Other than that, you can see over here from mydb import asterisk. So this is the module that we have created for the database, and we have imported all the methods of it inside this program. And in the end, we have imported this message box separately from Tkinter. Now first thing first, we have to create an object for the database. Since it was a class over here, so we have to create an object for this, and we have named our object as data. Also, I have informed you that it is accepting a parameter over here. That means we have to provide a name of our database. The database name must have a DB extension. So you can provide any database name with the DB extension over here. Here we have declared few global variables. I will discuss about it. Next, let's come to the GUI part. So these are the variables that we have created because we want to use it later in the program. So next time if I have to provide the same font name, I don't need to write the entire thing. I just type F. Now here the entire GUI is placed on the 2 frames. One is F1 and F2. So F1 is holding all the informations. Let me run the program so that you can see. Everything that you are seeing over here at the bottom is on F1, and everything that you are seeing over here that is displaying the data is on F2. And we are using a pack geometry manager for both of them. Next is label. Item name, item price, purchase date are the labels, are the 3 labels that we have used over here, and we have positioned it using a grid. Next is item name. These are the 3 entry widgets that we have used. Then we have a so first of all we have created this entry, and then we have placed it using a grid. Then we have action buttons. So there are total 7 action buttons, 6 at this point, and 1 is here. So first one is current date. So current date, it is fetching it from the system. So using that function, let me explain you the function as well. So first of all, we have placed it on the frame F1, and then the current date, the text that will appear, that is appearing, is current date. The font we have already declared at the top. Then the background color that you are seeing, a bluish color. Then command means whatever function name we will provide over here, that will be triggered every time the button will be clicked. Then the width of this button is 15. So let's discuss this function set date. So over here you can see that we are using dt.datetime.now. So this is the function that will fetch the current date time and dopvar.set is the dopvar is the name of the this bar, this entry widget, and we are setting the date in the format of day, then month, and then year. So in this way, if the moment I will click on this current date button, the date will be displayed, current date. Next we have created a submit button. So submit button is for save records. So the text that you can see over here is save record, and background and foreground color. The function that it is triggering is save record. I will talk about it because it's a large function, so we will discuss about the functions. Then clear button. So clear button is to delete everything inside this entry widget, this and this. So let's discuss about this one as well. Now here you can see that we are using the delete method over here, and inside the delete we have to provide the first value and the last value. So it will start from the 0th index and it will go to the last index. So all the text inside that entry widgets will be deleted. Next is quit button. So quit, we have created a lambda function. We are just destroying the main window, that is WS, and that will close this application. Next is total balance. So if total balance is first of all, it will show you how much you have spent, and then it will deduct the total you have spent from the balance that we have provided to the software. So for example, let me show you the code for this one as well. Now here you can see that first of all we are fetching the total amount. That means if there are 4 entries and all of them are 10, 10, 10, that means it will make them 40 because we are using some function over here. And then we are adding the balance. Now here you can see that first of all we are displaying the total balance, that is J, and then we are displaying the remaining balance, that is 5000 minus J. In case if you want to change the base amount, then you can just increase it from here. You can make it 50,000, lakh, whatever you want. Next button is total spent. Okay, so this one is similar to that one. We have not used it actually. You can see that we have not graded, so we can just simply go ahead and remove this one. This is not required. Now update button. So update button is used to update the information. So let's say if I have clicked over here and now the information is displayed, I can make some changes and I can just click on update button to update the information. Now you can see lunch for friend. So we will discuss about this function as well. Then delete. Delete is just to remove the row. So I can just select that and then click on delete. The moment I will click on delete, the information will be deleted. So in this way I have created the GUI. The next part is tree view, which is created on the F2 frame, and for that we have provided this columns. So these many columns, 1, 2, 3, 4 headings, and we have set them as an heading. So heading is serial number, item name, item purchase, price, and we are using a pack geometry manager over here, and also we have put it inside us, like we have put the side as left, so everything is moved to the left side. Since there is no space, that's why it is not appearing. Now tv.columns. So pay attention on this one, tv.headings. First of all, we have created a short name for this tree view, which is tv, and we have created heading, that is serial name, serial number, item name, then item price, then purchase date. Now here also we have used column over here. So column is allowing us to get some control over the text on this one. So right now you are seeing this is appearing in the center. That is why, because we have aligned it to the center over here. Similarly, and it has a width of 70. That's why you are seeing the width is very less, because we have assigned it using a column. Now tv.bind. So here we have used the binding of this. We have created an event. So every time I am clicking it, something is happening, like the text is displayed over here. Every time the row will be clicked, there will be some function that will be triggered. So this function is being triggered. Last is we are providing some kind of styling to this, to our table tree view. Okay, now this is the last one actually. Scroll bars. So scroll bars are important. If I will add this multiple values over here, then if the data will exceed the screen limit, then there should be something that could allow us to navigate to that data. So now you can see, using the scroll bar I can scroll up and down. So this is created on this one, and it is also using a pack geometry manager, which is set to the right. Earlier this tree view is set to the left and it is set to the right. That's why they are appearing horizontally. Now let's discuss the functions. So before we start with the functions, I want you to remember these things. These are the globally, like we have created them globally. So we will be using these global variables in the program. So here first function is save record. So what is save record is doing? So first of all, we have like use the data over here, which is 0 right now. Now data dot insert record. So actually data is the object of database, and this database object has power of using this method insert record. And where we created this insert record, you can see that it accepts some arguments or the parameters from the user. Now we have provided the same over here. So item name equals to item name underscore, item underscore name dot get. So this is the name of entry widget, and this is the name of another entry widget. This way all the three has been fetched and stored in the database. Now we'll see, let's see where we have called this function. Now we have called this function with the submit button. So every time user is clicking on that green button which says save record, this function is being triggered. We have already discussed about the set date, clear entries. Now let's talk about the fetch records. Fetch record is fetching the information from the database. So first of all, we have used this object, and this object has the method which says fetch records. Now we have already mentioned that this function accepts the query, so you can pass any query over there. So I have written a query over here which says select row ID, comma, asterisk means everything from the table name, which is expense record. See, it is important to mention a row ID over here. Otherwise, if you will mention only asterisk over here, it will not fetch the row ID as well. So I needed the row ID, that's why I mentioned over here. Then we have a global count. So global count is coming from here only. So for record in F, so F is the information fetched from this table. All the information that has been fetched, applying a loop, we are performing activity on each row or each data. So what is the activity that we are performing is TV is the short name we have given for the tree view, and the using insert function, we are inserting the data inside the tree view. So you can see we have provided the parent over here. So if you want to mention a child over here, then you need to mention the name of the child, but it is not required over here. That's why it is empty. Then index is 0. Index means at what position you want to insert the data. If I'll write end over here, that means right now you are seeing if I am adding a new data, it is appearing on the top. See, the serial number is in a reverse order. But if I'll just write end over here, then all the data will start appearing like 1 will be at the top, 2 will be at the bottom. Data will keep on adding at this point. Then IID count, which is very important. That's why we are using count over here. So count will keep on incrementing, and it will keep on providing the unique ID to this IID. Then the values. So values, see, we already have the value stored in this F variable. We are just fetching the value and we are positioning it on the tree view. So on the 0th position, serial number should go. On the first position, the name of the item should go, then the price, and then the purchase date. After that, we are using TV dot after 400 milliseconds. Refresh function will be performed. So let's talk about this refresh function. It is a most helpful function in this entire program. So what it is doing, every time we are running the program, let me show you first. So let's say I purchased snacks and I did it on, let's say 21, save record. Now you can see that immediately we are seeing this input. Immediately we are seeing this change. It is because it is refreshing in the background. So if I won't do that, then I have to close the program and then start it once again. Then I will be able to see the changes. But since I am refreshing it immediately, that's why it is showing immediately. So refresh program is in such a way. First of all, for item in tv.getChildren, all the items has been fetched, and then all the items has been deleted. And then we have performed the fetch record we have called this function which says fetch records. That means all the items in this has been deleted, and then the purpose of this fetch record function is to display the items. So first the records has been deleted and then displayed once again. Now next is select record. Select record is every time we are clicking on it. So this is the select. We are able to see the data over here. This is because of select. See, right now I clicked on snacks and snack information has been displayed. This is done by the select. For that we are also using this global, which is selected row ID. So what we have done over here, we have used tv.focus, which allows us to fetch the information on whichever row that has been clicked by the user. Then using this tv.item selected values, this is a function which accepts the name of a focused value and then what information you want from it. So you want values, so that's why. Now we have stored this information in the val and then selected row ID that we have selected. So this is the row ID. First item that is appearing is the row ID, and we have stored it inside our selected row ID, which is a global variable. So every time you are using a global variable, it is important to mention the global word. Now rest, we are setting the information set using dot set. We are setting the as you can see over here, the moment I have clicked on this lunch, the entry widgets has been set. So our next function is update record. So now here first of all we have uses selected tv.focus. That means the row will receive a focus and it will display the information. And then data.update record. So this is the object and it has a method with the name update record. This method accepts 4 parameters. One is 3 are the name of the things that we want to update, and the 4th one is where. So where selected row ID will be this. And then we have fetched the information that user has provided. Also we have added an exception so that in case if there is a problem, user will be able to see the error message. And then we have deleted everything from the box. So every time you are updating something, let me show you. Let's say you have made it to 300. Now the moment you will click on the update button, all the fields will be removed. So now you can see that the update has taken place 300, and that thing, all the entry widgets has been deleted. Also we have used refresh over here at 400 microseconds so that we can see the change. So I'll just make it 400 right now. Please pay attention over here. Now you can see that 400. Total balance. So total balance function is used to for this one. Okay, I have already explained this function. Last is delete. So delete what we are doing right now here. First of all, we are using the global variable that is selected row ID, which has a row ID number right now. Now data.delete. So data object has one method with the name remove record, which accepts, let me show you, which accepts a row ID as a parameter. So which means the query that will be run is delete from expenses, okay, delete from the table name, where row ID equals to whatever the row ID will be. So here we have just passed the row ID over here, and then we have just refreshed the data. So the reason behind refreshing the data is we don't need to remove the item from the tree view manually. All we have to do is refresh it. Since it do not exist in the database, so it will not come on this. With this we have explained you how to create this expense tracker application using Python Tkinter. Now we have a scope of improvements. There are things that you can add by yourself. These are, you can add a dynamic input base amount, which means right now we have set it to 5,000. You can accept it from the user and user can provide, and accordingly things will happen. You can generate report, you can use pandas and other libraries in order to generate report, perform some analytic report like last month you had spent this much, this month you have spent this much, like that. You can also connect it to the cloud storage. Right now it is a local storage with SQLite 3. You can connect it to a cloud one. Help for instructions, like every time the application is not that easy to use, so you can set up some instructions for that. Other than that, all the information that we have explained you so far is already available on our website, that is pythonguides.com. I will leave the link in the description box. Here you can find everything, all the explanation. Apart from that, you can also see the free source code over here. We have provided the complete source code for the database files. You have to create a file with the name mydb.py. and then you can paste all of this code inside that, and then you can just create another file with the name main.py and you can paste the entire code over there. So while using the code, in case if you face any problem or if you have any suggestion, you can leave the